Good morning, good morning, good morning. I was wondering why it was a little blurry. I think that was why. Good morning, Douglas, Steve, Victoria, Brian, Isaiah. Good morning. Just say all the TOS information you put up. Can't wait to get into it. Good morning, good morning. Good morning, Jackie. And yeah, all week, every single stream will be public. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. If there's a stream this week, it will be public on the channel this week. This is the first and only week I'm doing this. We did a poll on Twitter. Seemed like everybody wanted a piece of it, so went ahead and made it public. Just for this week, though. We've been doing this for a little over 3 months on the YouTube. I've been doing this for 3+ years on Discord. Streaming, that is. Just so we're all on the same page. Good morning, Sherman. Good morning, Douglas, Chloe, Chris. Good morning, everybody. General Motors to you as well. I'll give it a couple more minutes and then we'll jump into the dollar. We'll jump into looking at SPY. The first thing I do at the beginning of every stream and at the end of every stream is I go over the dollar and SPY on the bigger time frames, and then I go over SPY on the smaller time frames, just to kind of give everyone a game plan before the day starts. Not really make up what's going to happen, but I'm more or less covering scenarios in which the market can take right after open. So definitely can't wait to get into that. Good morning, Jasmine. Good morning, Alexis. Glad to have you both. Good morning, good morning. Glad to have everyone. Man, you guys are up early. We already got 40 people in here. It's only been a couple minutes. Good stuff. Glad to see everybody's ready for this after the long weekend. We had a short Friday, no market on Thursday, and then of course no market on Saturday or Sunday. So we've had about 3.5 days of just kind of chilling. Good morning, Tobias. Glad to have you again, man. Thanks for doing this, Bueller, and sharing your process. No problem, Serious Profit. Awesome name, by the way. Give it a couple more minutes. Probably start in like a minute or two. I'd just like to give it everybody kind of a breather before I start, because I do not want to repeat myself. Especially when we cover this stuff. It's always funny. We'll cover this, and then literally right after we're done covering it, somebody will pop in and say, hey, can you look at SPY? So I'm going to give it another minute, and then we'll talk about SPY, the dollar on the bigger time frames. Then we're going to go to SPY smaller time frame, talk about what we're going to be looking at. Double entendre. And then I'll go through a lot of other tickers, and we'll form just a vague watch list. I try not to go too deep. I used to do like, above this, here's a stop loss, here's a target. Like I used to go that in depth on every single ticker. But when we do these streams, since a lot more of my thoughts can be put out there, instead of having to type it all down or write it all down or any of that, and then posting it for people, now I can actually just kind of cover it with a lot more in-depth manner, and then type a more vague watch list. So the watch list will basically just be above this, below this. Sometimes I'll type targets, but overall, a lot of the information is covered in the stream. So if you're not someone who can do that, then that's a problem. But overall, a lot of the information is in these streams. But let's go ahead and start, everybody. Again, glad to have you all. Thank you guys for being here every single day. For the first 45 minutes, we just cover basically pre-market prep. We cover what we think about on the dollar on the bigger time frames, SPY on the bigger time frames, and we cover a lot of things in the smaller time frames. We formulate a watch list. We let the market open. I invite Nerdy Bicep in here, Devin. We talk about random updates, mainly covering SPY, the weights of SPY, and overall everything that is around the market or something on the watch list that we're watching. As you can see, I also have the sector watch list here from heaviest to smallest sector of SPY, which we also go through here and there. We use XLK a lot of the time though, but I do like to use all of these to kind of gauge the market. But XLK is a thing I use a lot just because it helps us trade Apple, Microsoft. XLY helps us trade Tesla, Amazon, McDonald's, Nike, Home Depot. Tons of different tickers there. Google, Meta for XLC, banks for the financials, and so on and so on. But let's jump into this. So the dollar. This is where we start every stream. Good morning, everybody. If somebody joins in here and says, hey, can you check out SPY, tell them to go back a couple minutes because we have already started covering this. But the dollar is stuck in between supply and demand from the last rally and pullback, right? We've seen a drop. We've seen them test support. We've seen them rise. We've seen them almost test that resistance or that supply that I was just talking about. And we've seen them pull back down now to the demand. So a really good pullback so far, but nothing has been retaken. So before the bigger moves happen, because you guys can range trade between a pretty large range, before the bigger moves happen, you're going to need to see this demand broken and retested from underneath, or you're going to see them hold demand. Or you're going to see them hold demand and see them bounce off of this support of 104.60s to 105.30s-ish area. So that's kind of one thing we're going to be gauging the markets with. Again, as the dollar rises, this brings more bearish pressure on the equity markets. As the dollar drops, this brings more bullish equity pressure on the market. So this is what we're going to be using on the bigger time frame. I never use this on the 5 minute. I more or less just use the daily to kind of just view it. I don't really sit on there and try to trade it or try to break it down in the 5 minute, but you will see me do that on SPY. On SPY, bigger time frames. Like I've said for the past 3 weeks now, almost 3 weeks, we've been stuck in a range between this high right here, this kind of 402, 403 area, before this bigger gap fill can break, right? Before it penetrates and actually tries to go fill it, we need to break over 403.50 and hold over it. We can't just push higher. We have to break over 403.50 and hold over for a more bullish push and to fill that gap, right? Today, we're going to be getting a lower open. As you guys can see, we closed at 402.30 on Friday. We're going to be opening at about 399 or almost 400 right here in this morning. So we are going to be opening a little bit lower, testing a 398.50. And as you guys can see from the list we made from over a week ago, that is a very strong pivot. So we're going to be watching 398.50. If this breaks, which we are starting over it right now by about $1, if this breaks, we will be looking to see if 396.30s or the 397s can hold this as support. So we're going to be using a lot of these on the smaller time frames as well. This is not the chart I use for smaller time frames. This helps me gauge a lot better levels in the bigger time frames using monthly levels, monthly and weekly. But a lot of these levels here that we've had up for a very long time. This is one of the only few short-term levels we have is right here and maybe about right here. But a lot of these levels have been here for months just about. So haven't had to change much. But as you guys can see, we are stuck between the 388, 390 area and the 402, 403 area. So we're stuck in between this almost $14 range with nowhere to go, right? So we're going to be paying attention to both the gap fill above and the gap fill below, which is about right here. Before the bigger move happens, which as you guys can see on the dollar lines up with the story that we have here on SPY, and nothing wants to break range yet. Even with all these crazy moves, you know, yeah, we've gone up and tested both sides of the range multiple times, but that doesn't necessarily mean we have to move just then, right? And that's what we're possibly getting again here today. But let's go down to the smaller time frame. And that kind of just sets up the scenarios that we have today. And as you can see, we've gapped down. So what are some smaller time frames we need to add? The previous day high, the previous day open, or sorry, low, the previous day close, which I'm not necessarily going to mark, and then the previous day open, which is way, way, way up here, right? So we got a couple levels way up here to worry about. We got a gap fill. We got the pre-market high about right here. We got the pre-market low. And again, the only short-term levels we add are the previous day high, previous day low, previous day open. I normally add the previous day close. I'm not going to do that today. The pre-market high and the pre-market low. And then, of course, today's open. Whenever that happens, we'll add that after like 20-30 minutes of the market being open. But overall, that's everything we're going to be looking at to kind of just look for some movement. But today, for a move to the downside, we're going to be watching. Let me start with buyers because I need to probably stay in order. Before buyers can step in, we're going to need to see them hold 398s. Okay, buyers need to hold 398s. watch over, if they do hold 398s, watch over 400s slash pre-market high. Sellers will be watching, oops, amazing typing job, will be watching under pre-market low. So now we have a picture on the bigger time frame. We have a picture on the smaller time frame. So right now you should have a full thorough idea of what to look for both buyers and sellers. Again, never approach these charts with a biased mindset. Every time you open these charts and you're looking at whatever levels, whatever indicators, I don't care what system you use, whatever you're looking at, you need to be looking at it and thinking, all right, what do bears want? What do bulls want? You need to be covering both sides of the story at all times. There is no point in just being bullish or just being bearish. If anyone has ever taught you this, they have never really traded in their life. You need to plan out both sides. There's no point in touching up on just one side, being just bearish or just bullish, because you got to think about it from both sides of perspective right now. Yeah, we're opening lower. Yeah, we gapped down last night, but we're still holding support. This is an argument for the bulls. Bears, I just pointed out their argument. They've seen a gap down. We're going to be getting a lower open. This gives them initial momentum to try and take out support. So you can think about it from both sides. There is an argument for both sides at all times. Doesn't matter what scenario you're in. Let's jump over to Tesla. So we basically have all our levels marked, actually. I don't have to add much. We have our previous day low right here. Our previous day high slash opens way up here at 185, so I don't need to add that. Previous day close, about really close to a level there. We can add our meat of our pre-market high if we want. We have our pre-market low here, which is already kind of beaten because we have 177.60 there. So let's go ahead and add that. But Tesla is pretty easy. Tesla above 181.60. Target 182.60. 183.50. And then 185. 185 could be your last target. If you want to look above that as a next play, you can, but that's going to be the initiating plan for Tesla's opening price. Below, and as you guys can see, and if you want to draw trend lines, be my guest. I'm not really a big fan of them because they're very big on perspective. Again, you could draw yours like this. I could get mine to be a little bit different. I could draw it like this, you know, and you're going to get two different kind of thinking processes there. But overall, I think none of us will argue that there is a slight angled support here, so we can definitely watch under that as well. But let's watch below. Let's be safe here. 177.60. And then we'll target the levels below, which if I zoom out, you can see we have one all the way at 174. There is a level before this. We have a level at 175 because of the psychological level. Again, every time you see a 0 or a 5 or a $2.50, that is a great strong psychological level to have on your chart. So that's going to be our vague watch list made for Tesla. Let's go down to Apple. And of course, while we're looking at Tesla, things we can confirm alongside it are going to be XLY, which I'll cover here in a few minutes while the market's moving. So we'll be sure to watch this alongside our charts, like Tesla or Amazon, that'll help us out, and Amazon as well. Plus, if I see Amazon start to rally and hold support and push higher, and I see Apple, I see Microsoft, I see a lot of these heavier weights holding support, and I just see Tesla sitting there, but Amazon's rallying, well, then I'm going to start to look at Tesla to see, are y'all going to rally next, right? And as you can see, if you pull back, see we have tested a very important area. We've pushed up above this, held above it in the past few days, and we've actually pushed higher. So pretty good movement from 177s, just looking at the past few days. Again, not even looking at a whole lot of past events, but as you can see, a very good spot to catch Tesla. But let's go to the next one. Apple, as you can see, not recovering or holding as well. And we can see our next levels before an ugly break is about 144.50. And just like Tesla, I don't have to add as much because a lot of the levels are lining up with the levels I like to add. We have our previous day open, which I don't have my price level tool. There we go. Wow, that's awesome. I normally don't get to do that. I normally have to type out every single level or add every single level, but today it's making it very easy. Above, actually, hold up. Need to hold 144.50s. Above 147, below 144.50. That one's pretty easy. which if you really do want a good short-term level, you could say above 145.85, because that's a really good point in the pre-market where they kind of retested, hit as resistance, and then pushed a little bit lower. So if you really want to wait for or go for a more short-term level, 146s would be a better area to look above, instead of saying 147, because that is a bit far. But a lot of the time when you're trading Apple, let's say you break out 144.50, what should be your first target? $1 out. $1 out is a really good rule of thumb for Apple. I'm not going to say this for every chart, but stocks like Apple and even Boeing have really, really good targets, even just $1 out. So if you break 144.50, your first target needs to be 143.50, 142.50, 141, and so on until you finish out the movement. But overall, that's a pretty good rule of thumb for Apple. I would not say the same for every single ticker. That is not a good rule of thumb for every ticker, just for Apple and sometimes Boeing even, which it's not even because of, you know, randomness or randomly picking those out. Those have really good price history with about $1 out. So we got the meat of our pre-market low, meat of our yesterday low, yesterday open. All right, and that one's pretty easy too. So Nvidia kind of lining up in a way that kind of makes it easy for us. Above, I'm going to say, all right, so you have a couple choices here. You could say 160, 140s. That would be a great level. You could say above 160, 140s for scalps. Above, and then you could say 162.10 or 162.50 or even 163. Again, if this is going to be your early entry level, you know, for getting into scalps, be my guest. But overall, you have three good choices here that I don't just see as 1, 2, or 3 good choices. I see it as kind of a combining choice. So I would genuinely wait until you see it past all of this area. And if you really want to take a passive play, don't just take the first time this breaks. Wait until it sits on top one of these 4 levels, and you actually have a pretty good initiating bullish breakout. Above, I'm going to say 163. Below 160. Target 159. Or under 159. All right, what's next? Oh. AMD, of course, the sister of Nvidia. So we'll add our pre-market low, which is about, which is about right here. Sorry, I was replying to a DM. Previous day high basically lines up with 76.09, so no point adding that. We'll add our previous day low. Previous day open, which this is not going to be as fun to grab today because of Friday's amazing price action, quotation. But that's what we have to do though. I'm not adding any of the previous day closes. I had a few questions over the weekend about that. You will not see me add that, though that is normally one of my favorite levels to grab. Let me go down on this. Oops. AMD. All right, so AMD, this one's pretty easy since there's not as many levels in the area. Above 74.85. Below 73.80. So we're kind of ignoring the in-between level. We're looking above basically the previous day low or below the pre-market low. So I'm going to actually type 73.75 because it's a good psychological level. Scroll back up and let's finish the list off. Amazon, since we already have Tesla, I'm just going to leave it, but we will be checking Amazon very heavily. I'll even probably cover a couple trading ideas on it. Baba we'll leave alone because I know a lot of you guys don't like to trade the Chinese tickers, but I really like seeing Baba move. I love that regardless of, you know, a stable economy or anything about that, the fact that they have any movement in like some of their equity tickers is amazing. I think that's awesome, especially for people who trade options. You just got to be safe because this does gap up and gap down a lot. You know, it was very easy, if you go back, it was very easy in the beginning of these last 30 days to say, oh yeah, they're super bullish. But now it's getting to a point where it's like, well, they're probably going to get a more of a pullback kind of look before getting another rally. So in my opinion, just looking at the bigger time frames on Baba, you will probably see a pullback. And don't even say gaps because there's so many unfilled gaps in this chart. It's not even funny. So I probably will not add that to the list today. But like I said, on Amazon and on Baba, you're going to see me come back to them. But again, I don't have to make a trading plan for each and every single one of them. And as you guys can see, the pre-market low, okay, I was kind of tripping there for a second, is at 281.50. We have the previous day close, which actually this one has a candle there. We can watch above 286. Previous day open. Previous day low. All right, cool, cool. So this one's actually not bad. Whoops. All right, so Netflix. And again, I'm just typing a short, vague watch list. If you guys want a better view of this, go to the beginning of the stream where I covered the dollar and SPY, and then work your way up to where we are now. But overall, I'm just making a vague watch list, giving you guys better breakdowns, more in the stream than I am on my actual typing of the watch list. Above 284.60s and above 286. So that'll be a kind of two really good break above levels. Below 281.50. We got Meta, which again, I'm probably not going to add Meta, but I will definitely go back to it because, you know, why not? It has amazing movement. But let's add a couple short-term levels so I don't have to do this later. Previous day low, previous day high, previous day open, kind of a combination there. So actually, if you wanted to add Meta, you could. This is a pretty strong area here, but you have the yesterday's open and low kind of combining for a good resistance to look over. With the pre-market low giving you a very open range pre-market low to look under. So if you see 110s break, you see it retest underneath, you see it hold as a bearish movement, it's most likely going to continue down to 109, and you can look at 108.25, but 109 needs to be your main target for Meta. Coinbase, I don't like to look at it heavily, but we will go through it as it's moving. Neo, very, very ugly. Google, we don't have to add anything on that one either. Microsoft, here we go. All right, so queen of the market. You got Apple as the king. You got Microsoft as the queen. Oh yeah, guys, boost this up. This is a public. These are again. Let me repeat that. These are public streams this week. So please share these to as many people as you want. Share them on Twitter, Instagram, Discord. I don't care where you share it. Make sure you share the streams this week. Every single day this week that I stream will be public. This is the first time and most likely the only time that we will be doing this. So throw out the link to your friends, but we got 3 more people till 100. We are so close. But let's keep going though. We already got a pretty decent watch list going here. We started the stream. I'll go over SPY and the dollar again at the end. Let's go. We just hit 100, everybody. Great work. Let me screenshot that. Awesome. All right, thank you guys. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for supporting the stream, clicking on it, getting information. But let's finish off Microsoft here. So we got our previous day high, which you can see I'm not going to the wick. You can see I'm going to the meat of it. Wick low. So yeah, we don't have to look at Microsoft, but we will. I mean, we don't have to trade Microsoft, but we can definitely look at it to gauge kind of the strength of the market. Because as this drops and as Apple drops, this will definitely weigh more on SPY. As they end up holding, it'll look good for bulls for SPY. So we'll have to switch over to that. And then of course Square. We've been trading this one between 59 and 61. They ended up finally bouncing into this range and holding. So we'll be probably trading it between 61 and 64.50s for a while now. So again, this one loves to just move into like a few dollar ranges, trade it for a little bit, and then go back into another range. So we'll definitely pay attention to see if they hold 61.70s or not. But that would be a good short level. If they end up holding it and you see them continuously hold it as bullish support, you'll probably see it get a really good bounce to the median of this range and then possibly to the top of that range. So we'll definitely keep our eyes on Square as well. Real quick, let me post this up for everyone in the Discords that I share these to. Because we do share these in multiple Discords. Let me share this, and then we will get going on covering SPY one more time. And then we can look at everything else. Alright, so real quick, let me get a screenshot of this. And everybody already has a picture of the bigger time frame, so I'll just go ahead and send that. And one more for these guys. One second. All right. You'll have my full undivided attention. All right, so at the beginning of the stream, we covered the dollar. We covered SPY in the bigger time frames. What are the scenarios to look out for, both from bulls and from bears? We went to the smaller time frame on SPY. We covered what are the scenarios we're looking for both bulls and bears. And then we went to a lot of different charts, and we covered a watch list, which you can see here. This will let me. There we go. And I'll leave this up for a bit, but I will be scrolling this back up because I'll have it on another screen. But I will be leaving this up while I pull this back up to go look at the watch list and the sector watch list as well. No, I will not go over Moderna, sorry. I'm here to just go over what we have on here. If you want a short-term plan on Moderna, I can give you one, but I'm not going to pull it up continuously. I just don't see the point in trading Moderna. There are so many better options out there. But overall, in the bigger time frames, without even having to chart it, you can see we actually do have a pretty good resistance here that was failed to ever sit as support. They ended up using it as resistance. Right now, that's the level they're fighting at 176.30. So this needs to be overall the kind of the key pivot point that you keep on watch. Whoever asked that, stop playing 44, whatever that means. But 176.28, that's going to be 176.25 really is going to be the area to look out for. As you can see on the smaller time frames, we've broken under that in the after hours. You really need to see how we open, one, but two, you need to see how it fights around that level. And then I would add those previous levels that you just saw me grab, because again, you have your meat of your high, your meat of your low, which is also your previous day open. So these are also two really good strong short-term levels. Again, the main thing that we go over in these streams, and you don't see me grabbing all these levels because I've already had them up. There's no point in me going backwards, right? But if you go to the daily time frame on the 3-year daily, let's say, you're going to see a shit ton of levels here, right? Again, the only thing I trade off of, and the guys, just for a better breakdown on how we do everything in here, make sure to check out the featured channel or featured video on the channel. It's called Workshop number 11. It shows you how I get my levels, what they mean, how we trade them, how we navigate, what are methods you can use to go through them. What's up, Trading Made Simple with Sandra? Everybody make sure to say hi to Sandra. She has a really cool YouTube channel, so make sure to check her out as well. I really hate supporting other traders, but she is one that has amazing amounts of info that is actually useful for you. So definitely make sure to show her some support if you see her. But she's really cool. But again, as you can see, though, we have a crap ton of levels here. Go back down to the smaller time frames, and basically all we're using is price history and short-term price info to give us a good combination of levels, I guess is what I'm really trying to say here. But let's go back to SPY bigger time frame. We'll cover it one more time, and then we'll go to the smaller time frame on SPY, and I'll call Devin in here, and we'll wait for the market to open. But overall, guys, as you can see, we have slowly tried to start filling that gap. We have not done it yet. The real level to look over, and it's on my other chart, is 403.50. We really need to see over 403.50 for a better break towards 406, 407, 408, possibly even 409, 410, which are a lot higher resistances past the gap. But overall, if you do feel the gap, that doesn't mean, oh, that's the high. It can go a little bit past. 410 would be a good psychological outside of that gap to look for. That's what bulls are looking for. So they're going to be looking to try and hold support and push higher, even off today's lower open. But today for bears, what are they going to be looking for? They're going to be looking to retest a more short-term support. As you can see, and I don't really need to leave that blue rectangle there anymore. That was more or less just to kind of highlight how many days we had sitting here. Because if you compare this to previous times, we sat here for 8 days, dropped lower. We sat here for 8 days, popped higher just for another week or so, and then instantly breaking down. So we'll be looking at that as well, considering we are still in a bear market. But overall, we're going to be paying attention to see, are we going to go fill this gap, retest, come back down, or is this where we're going to go ahead and do that and give us a more healthier pullback down to 390s again? If we get that under the 398 to 296s, then that'll be a healthier pullback. Still in an uptrend, though, from our recent lows where we had those shorts cover, where we had CPI data come out, and it wasn't as bad as everyone was expecting, so we ended up getting a good pump. But welcome everybody in here. It's crazy that we have almost 130 people in here. Oh, as I said, it hits 130. All right, so that's our breakdown for SPY on the bigger time frames. Let me fix this. This is already messing up for me. 25. Oops, and I didn't click apply. Good job, Josh. Okay, I didn't need to. All right, so that's what we'll be looking at on the bigger time frames. Smaller time frames, you guys can see we have a big chunk of mess here. We have a lot of levels up here from the previous day's range as well as bigger time frames. The main concern that we're going to be looking at, though, is about the 400 area. If we end up breaking past 400, it does give bulls a really good chance of retesting the previous day's price action, essentially. So we'll be looking towards 401, 401.50, 402 area. If we do end up breaking 400, overall a good short-term level to look over is 399.90, but I'm just going to go ahead and tell y'all 400 because it's a better psychological level. But overall, we're looking to see if we can crack that or if we're going to crack 398.30s first. I'm not really expecting a crazy exciting week. We do have Powell on Wednesday. There's a lot of other pieces of information coming out about not just our economy, but the global economy. So I'll be paying attention to those numbers coming out this week. We're not going to let, I guess you could say in quotations, a boring day stop us. We're going to push through. We're going to cover what's happening on SPY, what weights are moving SPY, what sectors are moving SPY. You know, it's not always tech. Again, we'll go through this all, and I'm not just going to leave it up here for you to be, you know, left off, but we will be going through this info. Just give us some time. But thank you all for being here, guys. This is an all-time streamer viewer high. We're at over 130 viewers. That's just crazy. Thank you guys for that. That is amazing. And then here in a few minutes, I'll call Devin up, and then we'll be in the live stream, and we'll be covering different updates and stuff. But what tickers is everyone watching this week? Are there any opinions? Are there any other tickers? Whether it's in my watch list or outside of my watch list, I don't care. But what are you guys looking at? I know a lot of us are going to be looking at SPY, the Qs, some different sectors. But what is everyone going to be looking at? I just want to see from y'all's perspective. But in short, I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. I hope you guys got to relax at least one of those few days that we had off. Isaiah said the triple Q. Steve said Amazon. Good morning, Sal. Glad to have you. And good morning to everybody in case I missed you guys. Hi, Sandra. Great video on the gap fill. Yeah, she does. She has a lot of really good videos. I would take time to go through some. Like I said, it's very hard for me to promote or even put other traders in the light. But Sandra is one of those people. Really good content. UNH could use a slowdown now. Big weight in the market. Oh yeah, in the healthcare sector. He's talking about UNH. He is correct about that one. And yeah, if you go to the bigger time frame, they are a bit tired. We've seen them gone up to here before. This is the all-time high area. If you go to the 3-year daily, you can see we're up here in the all-time high area. Rejected it once, way back in August. Here we are again in the beginning of November, end of October. Rejected it once, rejected it again with the bearish. We talked about this on stream. That's why some of this info is highlighted. But an inside bar, we had them open and close outside the inside bar. Good push up to the next major level. They got a pullback and then a slight but low volume push on this recent move. So yeah, they're probably getting a little bit tired. As you can see, the support of this last, you know, kind of all-time high retest is about right here. So I'm going to just grab the bottom of this candle. Is about right there, and they're up against that. And you can see today they're going to be opening a little lower, most likely. So it looks like as long as they reject 537, 540 area, Sherman, it looks like they should be pulling back again. So watch over that level for a more invalidation push into the 545, 550s. And then for bears, watch for them to continue to reject. Let me catch up. Daffy said BBY. DKNG. Good morning, King Clips. Glad to have you again. Ruth Ann said Tesla and Apple. A great combination. Sonia said, good morning. I will be mental trading Tesla and AMD. And that's great. Thank you so much for saying that. Because too many people... you can just click on her channel or she's featured on my channel. So it's really either or. But you should be able to just click her name. If not, though, go to my channel on the front where it says featured. You can see her channel. It's like right up top. But thank you, Sonia. Again, as I was saying, thank you for saying that because too many people get into this market and they're like, oh my God, I have to trade, I have to trade, I have to trade. And you don't. You don't need to trade. You need to start practicing, visualizing, mental trading. So after you get, you know, decent at grabbing these levels that we love to look at each and every week, which I'm going to pull this up now. You like to pull up these levels each and every week. It's going to give you a really good routine of practice of like, all right, I'll look above this. I'll get into calls. I'll stop loss if it does this. I'll take profit if it does this. You know, setting up that plan, really visualizing what's possible in front of you without making anything up. And too many people jump into trading without practicing first. They lose money, then they give up, not even really giving themselves that chance. So Sonia, I actually think you're above a lot of those people who just jump into trading all lime-like, right? I think it's great that you're taking time to visualize, mental trade, and I wish more people would do what you're doing. So continue, Sonia. Don't let anybody push you off course. And it's very easy to get pushed off course because you see other people live trading and you're like, damn, they're doing so good. You know, that could be me. And it's like, don't think about it like that. That's not how you're supposed to think. Really, the tickers you covered, I really like the large. Okay, awesome, Isaiah. You and me are gonna be good friends then. Will says Boeing. Glad to have you in here, Will. I know you've been pretty busy, man. See, that's a ticker we need to add on here. I always say Boeing, and then I never like have it on the watch list. So let's actually add Boeing to the watch list. Jesus, I don't know why I didn't. It's one of my favorites. But awesome. Glad to have it up there. Good morning, Miggy. Very happy to have you in here. One second, I gotta reply to somebody. Alright guys, we have about 10 minutes before open. Here in a couple minutes I'll be inviting Devin. Do we have any other questions or updates or pieces of information by anybody? What's up, Taylor? Glad to have you in here again. You're going to be watching AMD, Baba, and Coin. Awesome. Alright, maybe I will go get Coin ready then since you're looking at it. Alright, so let me add our previous day low, previous day high, previous day open, previous day close, which I haven't even been able to see that on most charts. Pre-market low. No need to add the pre-market high. It's basically already there. Okay, we've tested here before, so we got about the low 42s to watch out for a better drop below. If that ends up holding, it does give them a good chance to go hit the previous day low. Above previous day low, you can look towards previous day close. That one actually does have a decent plan. You said Baba as well. What do I trade on? I trade on Thinkorswim by TD Ameritrade. I used to have a Webull. I used to have a Robinhood. I had those for a very short period of time because I just don't like either of those apps or the trading houses that help them out. But overall, Thinkorswim is pretty decent. I have wanted to try out Interactive Brokers. Interactive Brokers seems to be a really, really cool and super useful brokerage. What's up, Kid83? Glad to have you. But yeah, thank you guys for being in here. Thank you guys for supporting the streams. I don't expect everybody to stay in here, but don't be one of those people that just clicks in here, views it for 5 seconds, and leaves, because you're not going to get any information out of that. But overall, if you guys stay in here, you're definitely going to get a bunch of really, really good updates. What's up, Geo? Geo, haven't seen your name in a minute, man. Glad to have you in here, though. As you guys can see, the dollar has bounced off demand. That's why on the daily time frame, it's very deceiving because you could be like, oh, we're bearish. But we've actually wicked up, so it's actually bouncing pretty good. They're watching to try to retake 106, which would bring bearish pressure for equities. TOS for charting as well? Yes, this is TOS. If you go through all of my videos, I've never used anything else for charting. Some of my videos have trading view in it, but that's from my friends' videos, not me. Which there's only a few of those, so it's not like you should be that confused by it. But let's go over some TOS settings. I've had a lot of you guys beg me on Twitter, Instagram, Discord, YouTube. I've had a lot of you guys almost beg me to just give you some of these simple settings. And they're really not that hard, guys. Some of these settings are super easy. So let's say you wanted to switch between drawing sets. You could see that other one I use for my day trading. I use that for having as many levels as I possibly can. And then I use this one for my daily time frame to get a bigger picture view of what's going on, what can I possibly plan. Therefore, I don't have to confuse myself by having them on the same screen. So, what is a setting you can turn on? This isn't really a setting you turn on. It's just drawing sets. But make sure you take advantage of these drawing sets. You can create new drawing set. You can save them as a new. You can rename them. You can remove them, delete them, whatever you want to do. But use these drawing sets. So whenever you're on one, you're on monthly, you go to create new. It'll give you another one, and another one will pop up. Default will always be there. You can't change the name or get rid of it. It's always there. So I try to use that as my day trading one. So as you can see, as we switch between, I am ready to go no matter what I want to look at on any chart as well. Another setting you should turn on. When you go to your setting symbol here where it says chart settings, if you want to be able to snap to levels really quick, like you've been seeing me do for, the meat of the bone or the close or open of a candle or the wicks, turn on OHLC, snap drawings to OHLC. That stands for open, high, low, close. And this can give you a better, easier way of clicking on some of your levels. This I don't think this will be on iPad or the phone, so don't even bother. But overall, OHLC is a super easy setting to turn on. And then one more would be where it says My Tools. Make it say on each chart. Click Apply, then click OK. You'll have this little, I don't even know what to call it, this little tab pop up here. You can click the cog wheel. You can edit all these buttons as you want, but it makes it really easy to just kind of click on what you want to do next. Draw, price level, pan, you want to look over it real quick. Awesome. But these are a couple settings I would personally turn on. Those are the only 3 that I really try to push on to people, because they're not really anything crazy, but they are super useful. Cannot get your TOS to look like that on your iPad. Yeah, I wish the iPad, and honestly just any mobile device, I wish had a better view of what we're looking at for... I'll pull it up a little bit, because I'll remember to check energy. I'm not going to forget that. But yeah, I wish the mobile devices were a little better looking. Good morning, Carter. Glad to have you. Alright, guys, I'm going to put my headset on. How's the music, by the way? Is it too loud, too quiet? Let me know. But real quick, guys, I am going to be putting on my headset so I can bring Devin in here. Oh, the music's kind of quiet, actually. Oh, that's why it was on a very quiet song. Okay, I'm going to leave the volume where it was. Alright, so let me invite Devin in here. It was his birthday last Friday. We didn't stream last Friday. So make sure to give him a warm welcome when he joins in here.
Yo, yo.
1 second, let me fix your volume. Alright, bet. What is up, my brethren?
Like Amazon.
You like Amazon?
9 billion in online sales on Friday for all retail. All-time record by like 20%.
Isn't that beautiful?
But is that just inflation and people got less for the value? I don't know.
Oh, like entrenched prices instead of actually seeing a pickup in demand.
Right. Like last year, you might have got more products sold versus this year.
Taylor, did you just spell Devin with a Y? No, that's impressive, though. That's pretty crazy, too, especially right now. It makes you think, like, damn, is it higher prices, or is there actually that much demand?
Want to hear something else crazy about that? Buy now, pay later, up 70%.
Which is crazy, because that's definitely going to incur a lot of debt for the younger generations going forward.
Yeah, so out of all that stuff, all that shopping, most people went with the buy now, pay later, which might be buy now, pay never.
All right, Devin, I got to settle this between Taylor right here, right now. How do you spell your name?
Devin.
I-N, okay. I had to make sure. I was like, man, if you spell it with a Y, I might call you psychotic. There's no way Taylor's serious right now. She has to be joking. But yeah, it was Devin's birthday on Friday. Mine was just a week before that, and then his was the last Friday, so we didn't get to stream, so I didn't get to drown him in happy birthday messages by you guys. But it was his birthday, so you could say happy belated birthday if you really wanted to. But we have the market opening up in about 1 minute and 40 seconds, guys. So we'll be covering covering Devin. You guys got me saying Devin now. We'll be covering SPY and the weights of SPY as we go through the market as it's moving.
Yeah, buy now, pay never. Like everyone intends to like go buy an item, right? Like you intend to buy these items, but then with inflation and everything, you never have the money to pay for it. So all these people buying items, if you go put $500 down on a $1,000 item, they might never get that item.
I'm not really huge into the buy now, pay later stuff. Is there a debt you incur and then a rate in which picks up on it? Does it collect over time?
So most of the time on the buy now, pay later nowadays, it's like at point of purchase, right? Like you can take the items home that day, and they're just they'll offer 0% interest for so long, then they'll tackle on their 15 to 20%. But it's not necessarily like a layaway where you put some money down and have to pick it up later.
Like I was kind of thinking, is it like a credit card? Do you buy
Yeah, it's
something?
essentially a credit card.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, then the buy now pay later people put all the debt together, then sell it to other people. It's going to be the housing
So
crisis
it's literally just a
2.0.
fancier way of saying another credit card, really.
Yeah,
Okay.
for people that can't have credit cards, so it's high risk debt.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Now you really hit me inside. I was like, why would this even exist if credit card? But
Yeah,
now I got what you're saying. Okay, okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. It's high risk debt, super high risk.
That makes a lot of sense. I'm gonna start spelling it that way now, Taylor. I'm gonna put the Y in there. I'm not gonna lie.
Y looks better than an O.
Yeah, it does. Definitely date. What? Dayvon.
Yeah, or D is DVON.
All
Some
right,
people
market's
spell it
open.
like that. Here we go. Here we go.
They get a higher open by just a couple cents there, indicating possible bullish pressure at open. Let
It
me see
is
the dollar.
Monday. So first 10-minute and 30-minute candle are going to play a huge key on the trade that I take today.
Devin with an apostrophe.
But we'll see what we get on this open here.
Good morning, D-Touch, and glad to have you all here. These are public all week. One more time, let me state this again. I should do better about repeating myself. But this week is the only week, the first time and only time I will be streaming publicly all 5 days of this week. So make sure you guys to share these streams as much as you possibly can on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, wherever the hell you have friends, you know where traders are. Link them these streams. I promise they will get a good bit of information out of them.
If you guys got a friend that you want to see check out the market and they've been on the edge of their seat, man, just send them the link. Don't even tell them you're sending it. Just send them the link and get them to tune in. You're doing them a favor.
And what do we do? Everybody who has been here normally, what do we do the first 10 minutes of every trading day? Good morning, J-Bake. Always glad to have you in here. We need to bring J-Bake in here one day. I'll DM you today, J-Bake, and I'll see what day this week you want to try and get in. Even if it's just for 20 minutes or so.
Everything getting a little buy reaction on the open, as you would expect. Microsoft, not so much, so pay attention to that. Same with Google.
Exactly, guys. Throughout the first 10 minutes, we prepare a coffee mug. No, we sit, no trades, we wait for confirmation. Some of us can only sit. But exactly, the point of it being, we want to be patient. We want to let the market open, get a little breather. When you pour out wine, you don't just start chugging it instantly. You gotta let it breathe a little. Same thing with the market. You gotta let it breathe.
Facebook already recovering, getting over yesterday close. That's pretty bullish. That's Meta, my bad. Facebook Meta, you know what I mean.
Hey, man, it's okay with me. You ain't gonna see me get butthurt about it.
And SPY recovering pretty quick. So we're just going to let this first 10 minutes shake out, see if this is going to be what the trend is. Google and Microsoft aren't doing the upside rally yet. Microsoft's buying the dip.
Anderson, what's up, man? He always loves watching, or not always, but he likes to watch some of the banks. He's watching BAC today, and he's watching for a rejection on BAC of 37.65. Good mention, Anderson. And like I said, guys, these streams are not just to watch me and Devin. If you have something to update, if you have a ticker to bring to light, don't just type the ticker. Type a little plan like you can see Anderson just did. Great message, man. Excuse me. Sheesh, they were quick, done already.
It was on over yesterday, high close. See if it gets over 95. It's got a double close at 94.50 last Friday and Wednesday. So if we can get over that, that's looking pretty good.
Tesla and Amazon moving together. Apple and Microsoft not moving together. Microsoft opening with a long-legged doji so far. It's a very indecisive open for Microsoft, while Apple pushes a little higher. So those are not working together. You have Amazon and Tesla working together. Good sign. Keep your eyes on Netflix over 286. I'm surprised it's already popped up to it instantly. So let's definitely look over that level today. Coins over the previous day close. Very impressive by crypto. How did crypto do this weekend? I didn't even take a single peek. Ooh, I bet people were scared this weekend. I dipped down all the way to where it was. Very
It was
cool.
crypto.com and a couple other people are getting in trouble because they were sending their money around trying to make it look like they had enough money to cover it. So they're probably all going to go bankrupt like FTX.
I'm not even surprised. When it came out that FTX never even owned a single Bitcoin, that alone should scare you. Because it
Yeah,
makes
they
you
were.
think. And that's why other people are freaking out now is because of like what you just said. Crypto.com, Coinbase, all these other
I think
places, Binance, it's like, are y'all also having the same issues? So it gets you thinking.
Netflix popping.
Good call out. And yeah, 286 was my intended level. Sucks to see the first 5 minutes, but still a very nice
Yeah,
move by Netflix.
we'll see. We'll see how this stuff holds up. Spy coming up nice. Did buy on Google. Tesla coming up. Meta's just been blasting. It's going to yesterday high.
And this is what we want to see, guys. We want to see things moving together, not just Apple, not just Microsoft. We want to see a lot of things moving together, and that's what we're getting right now. Nothing wrong with chugging a little wine. Definitely not. Some dry red, some sugar white.
Yeah, Amazon's ripping over 95. And we just gotta see. I'd like to see a little retest on some of these and continuation.
And what he means by retest, here's a great example by Amazon. Let's say this was the high of day for now. It slows down here, right? Throughout the first 10 minutes. Let's say it slows down and it just trades sideways, trades down. As long as it holds over the previous day high, it should be bullish. That's the retest that we would be looking for. And if it finishes higher, awesome. And that's just Amazon. Of course, it'll be different on every chart. Again, we're still waiting for the first 10 minutes to close to get a little bit more stable price action, and then also the first 30 minutes to really get a good aim at the first 30-minute candle. Since it's Monday of the next week, a good fresh open new week, we want to see the open and how we react, because this will give us a good kind of sentiment on what's possible today. So far, bulls are in control, but can they hold? That's the question.
I mean, one of the biggest reasons we were down on the market this morning was China's COVID zero policy
Oh, yeah,
flared up over the weekend.
they're very strict on that. They will take you
Seems,
from your family until you are okay.
I've seen some of the craziest videos. Just welding like apartment doors shut, like for whole buildings for people who can't get out.
Dear Lord. I remember at the beginning of the year when we were doing those streams about like the global economy, a lot of people were like, well, screw China, this and that. It's like, well, guys, you got to remember, this is how they work. This is how communism works. That's China. They don't have a market like we do. They don't have a government like we do. So it's not going to be like America. It's not going to be like America at all.
So Meta coming back down through yesterday's close. See if it holds here. Microsoft rejecting again, looking kind of weak on Microsoft. I don't know
Sherman,
what's
damn.
going on there.
It's always funny watching Baba just continue to rally. Alright guys, so we did get a good push over that short-term pre-market level I talked about in the pre-market prep. Broke about 400, and we hit the next level. So it's a good move so far, but nothing crazy, nothing, amazing trading opportunity-wise yet. Again, like I said, we like to let the market breathe, open up, give us more information first. And so far, all we have is just a good green open into a good resistance. That's all we've gotten. So we've basically just seen a test of both sides of pre-market now. What we need to look for next is, can we break this pre-market high? Can we break 401 area and push towards the previous day lows, the previous day close? Can we break into these levels? This is what you need to watch out next. If there is going to be a retest from here, it's most likely going to be from about here, that exact short-term area that I was talking to you guys about. So if we do just reject here and not continue higher, and again, you'll always hear me cover both sides. I'm never just going to sit here and cover bulls or just bears. You can see I just covered bulls. We're now covering what can the bears do. The bears would need to re-break this 399.60s to give more short-term invalidation that bulls have any strength at open. So basically you just have a really good green open. Nothing else yet. BAC rejecting so far 12%. Good job, Anderson. My bad, I didn't get to look at that yet. Oh, okay, I see what you're looking at. You're looking at that previous day high. Great work. Yeah, they pumped right into it.
Netflix been pumping ever since you missed it. Almost at yesterday high. You seen that? Get over yesterday high. That's looking pretty good.
Pre-market wise, that was one of the few I liked that was just kind of sitting there. Some of them had a lot, you know, of crazy rapid. This one really just dropped and then pushed up. That's all it did in the pre-market. Plus, I just love looking at Netflix. Good job, Anderson, as BAC's in the money. Don't be greedy, man. If you're getting towards your first initial target, be sure to take some of your profits.
First 10 minutes is up on the market.
We can watch for Apple to break their meat of the bone high of day. So if we see them push 146.10, this does give them a good chance of going and smacking that 147, which again, guys, just brings us to the previous day low. Exactly, Ron. Observe.
Tesla over its pre-market high. Yesterday high above. $3 more to go.
Good hold of my 180, 150 levels as well, guys, throughout the first 10 minutes. Tesla does look very good. AMZN, Amazon, is still holding over the 95.30. Also a very good short-term indication that bulls want to keep control. Apple's starting to push that level I just mentioned. Let me go to Nvidia. Nvidia is still rejecting right now, but basically you're watching for a combination of these two levels here for a better breakout, which it's rejecting that right now. So watch past that area for more bulls to step in. AMDs kind of have the same seat. They're kind of stuck between that and the previous day close. Netflix still just up against the next level. Do I have any others? No, that's everything there. Alright, so let me check our sectors. This is something that I've been needing to do all morning. But XLK, it looks like we can look for Apple and Microsoft to continue higher if XLK can break over 132.80. So you don't want to just look for Apple. You don't want to just look for Microsoft. You don't want to just look at QQQ. You want to look at XLK as well to see as a whole, as a conglomerate of tech stocks, can they break this spot. So if you see this break and you see Apple and Microsoft breaking good levels, definitely get into some calls, set up a good stop loss. But these do have good momentum over that level. Let's check out healthcare. Healthcare is up and pulling back. But, as you can see, you go to their previous day high and their previous day close, which is all kind of the same area. This is basically where they pushed above and are now pulling back. So basically you want to see, can they hold over today's open and the previous day high or low to see if can they hold this as support. This will help out bulls. If they end up breaking it, this will bring more bears into the chart. Discretionary. They have the same seat basically, holding their previous day high. So as long as they hold 142.90s, you should be bullish on tickers like Amazon, Tesla, Nike, Home Depot, XLC. This is the last one I'll do. Previous day close right at about 50.13. You can see that's where the meat of the bone is throughout the first 10 minutes rejected. So if you see that pop, this is good for bulls. If we end up holding under this and we break today's open / low, this is good for bears. As you can see, I'm always covering both sides of the story. There is no point in being just one. Miggy is watching for a retest of the previous day high on Amazon. Great watch, Miggy. I like that a lot. Good job, Anderson. He's taking some of his profits at 16% on his own BAC play. Dollar also has a green 10-minute candle. Q still holding underneath PDL. Good mentions, everybody. I love to see all these updates by everybody. This is exactly what I wanted to see from y'all because we talked about this the past 3 weeks. I want to see you guys typing more of your updates more. Don't just say it to yourself or think it in your head. Try to type it out. Make it a reality. Anderson's all out at 21%. Great work, man. Round of applause for Anderson, everybody. Nvidia just made a new high of day testing previous day open. 163 is a strong psych level. And as you guys can see, SPY also rejecting 400.60, which is what we have to look over for bulls to try and step in. Amazon 65 to 90. Good stuff, Steve. Good stuff, Sherman. Shout out to Steve Rock and Jonathan Sherman. Round of applause for y'all. Tesla does not care about the slight pullback by some of the market. They are still moving higher.
Some stuff's holding really well. Amazon's holding that 95 level really well. Tesla holding up well. Google Q's over the or whatever level that is, the yesterday low, it looks like. Yeah. Looking for Amazon over 96.40 if it's going to be super bullish. The volume's been decreasing since the first push here, so we'll see what we get. Next 5-minute candle's 10 seconds away.
Wow, D-Touch, amazing job, man. I'll have to show this on stream, but D-Touch just did exactly what we talked about last week. Again, I'm glad to see people not just paying attention, but taking advantage of the information. Check this out. And this is exactly what we've been covering. We've been covering using the bigger time frames to give you that edge on the bigger time frames. A really easy way of doing that is finding inside candles and waiting for the next day's open. And that's just in short. There's definitely a lot more than that, but I'm just giving you guys the short info. But as you guys can see, we had two of them, or one of them, sorry, sit inside the previous day, basically relying on how the next day opens. If the next day opens green, you can grab calls towards the next level. If the next day opens red, you can grab puts towards the next level, just in short, of course. But he used combining signals. He didn't just go off of this. He found a good little tweezer bottom that's also kind of an inside bar with a green open, another inside bar, and then we got a green open today, not tomorrow. This is today. So really good find by him, but check this out. Over 28% on a quick play using just 5 contracts. And I know at first you're like, oh, that's a lot of money he's throwing at that. But this isn't the first time. This isn't his first rodeo either. When it's your first try, you should just try 1 contract. Or at first, you should just visualize with paper trading or mental trading. I prefer mental trading. Paper trading can give you some false confidence. But beautiful job. Can we get a round of applause for my boy D-Touch trading that inside candle using combining signals to catch that move? Great work, man. That was a beautiful play. Beautiful, beautiful.
I really like SPY, how it's been holding, but I don't like Microsoft. I don't know what it's doing.
Are they still indecisive? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember bringing that up in the first 5 minutes. I would not have expected to still see this.
No, so it needs to, and you got Google rejecting, I don't like that, so be careful.
We got a couple weights pulling back. We got a couple weights pushing higher, guys. It's a very gray area open. Tesla, though, super bullish. Jesus.
Yeah, Tesla at 185 will look nice.
I would really like to see this pullback that I went over as well as Miggy went over, but I'd love to see Amazon pull back and hold that 94.30s. That would give a beautiful potential move to the upside. Good stuff, guys. Thank you guys for supporting each other, too. That's more important to me than anything, is seeing everybody play along. Great stuff, though. Sylvia just got 10% on a quick scalp on Neo. Round of applause to Sylvia. Good stuff. Good mention, Daffy, on the Microsoft. Keep them coming, guys. Keep the updates coming. This is great. Everybody's working well together. And you guys can see that too. Me and Devin are going through the weights. I haven't even gone back to look at SPY, but seeing some of them pull back, seeing some of them move lower, and seeing some of them move higher gives me kind of a gray area, right? Kind of an indecisive open. You go to SPY and you can see just that. Yeah, we've had one good push, but since that one good push, we haven't really done anything. So we're waiting for a good push over another resistance, combining those weights. Watching Netflix and Amazon for potential 80% entry to the upside. Great work, Mies, and I definitely like your plan on those, because they both had good pushes. If you get a good pullback that holds a good support, you have a really good idea going.
You got less than 2 minutes on the next 10-minute candle. Low volume on this SPY 10-minute candle so far. Same thing on that Netflix 10-minute candle. So let's see what that next 10-minute candle does for Netflix.
Let's see this pull back and hold that good short-term level on SPY above 400. Q's looking bullish, watching the 5 and 2 minute time frames. Microsoft trying to hold under the PML. Also, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Dylan. Glad to have you back from the huge cruise you just took. Glad you got back safe. No Poseidon happened. That's good. No tsunamis hit your boat. Apple's testing 146 again. Great call out. Again, guys, all we've had so far is a good green open and a slight pullback in a lot of the weights or a just weakness in the push. But overall, as long as we hold some of these short-term levels, like right here on Apple, by grabbing this kind of where we kind of fell from into this high rejection here in the pre-market, we're also kind of sitting on it as support. So we're kind of watching this area where my cursor is right now to see if Apple can hold or not. And a lot of tickers are doing the same move right now. Nvidia potentially holding above a very bullish area. I like it as long as it's holding this area. If it can break 163, definitely looking to scalp some calls. AMD's probably in the same seat. Yes, they are. Holding that area I was just mentioning. So look for some calls to scalp as long as they hold those blue areas that I just covered on AMD, right above 7480, and Nvidia basically above 162. But right now, the more important thing right now is to watch SPY, Apple, and Microsoft. I'm watching the king and queen. If Microsoft does not hold this pre-market low, this will not be good for Apple and SPY. Apple trying its best to hold everything up even with Microsoft fighting against it. Microsoft is going down and it's going to possibly retest that more short-term retest level I was talking about. IWM right at opening price, very weak relative to SPY and QQQ. So the small caps are still just stuck at open and weak. Good mention, D-Touch.
He hasn't moved too much at all.
We smacked that level on XOK. We need to watch to see if 132.80s breaks, guys. This will help Apple and Microsoft. Kind of clicking through the other ones to see what's all happening. I like Netflix's retest spot as well. We just need to see the other equities pick up now. So there's a couple I like that I've already retested. There's a couple I like that haven't gotten the better retest. Some of those would be Nvidia, AMD, Netflix. I like those a lot. Apple needs a little bit more info. Amazon needs a little bit more info. But some of these have already set up and look good to go. We're just waiting on the rest of them now.
Tesla made a new high on this candle.
Oh, Anderson, are you easy for you? I didn't even know that. I don't think I've ever realized that. I've always seen your name in both this and Discord. Great work, man. I'll pull it up here in a second. We'll go over it. I'm just giving us a few minutes on some of these moves here to see what's going to happen. But I will pull your trade up on the stream. Good stuff, though, man. I'm really happy to see you not just posting your review, but already finishing the routine, planning beforehand, taking the trade. You've now exited your trade. You've now reviewed it. So you've entirely completed the BAC trade on your own, too. Nobody had to hold your hand. Nobody had to tell you anything. That's exactly what we're looking for. Great work, Andrew. You should be very proud of yourself. Not just because of you doing good. That's not what I'm even saying this for. Because of the process. You've completed it, and I haven't once had to remind you. So great work. Just about 6 minutes from now, we'll have our first 30-minute candle close, and I'll go ahead and look at the 30-minute as well. What's up, Tin Nation? Glad to have you in here. Tesla making another high of day. Let's see what Amazon's doing. Still pulling back.
Google's hanging out there right about midpoint.
Now remember,
same with Apple.
I said right here would be a better retest. Do they have to do this? No, they could do it right here. But this would be a more passive pullback. This would be a lot more aggressive because it's not as far, doesn't give you as much room. So definitely keep eyes around 95, 30s. But overall, this would be the better pullback for Amazon. If we're going to push up, I think AMD and Nvidia are going to be the first two to show us this. So keep eyes on Nvidia and AMD, as they are still holding really good short-term areas. If you see them break these areas, this will be a good short-term indication that bears are still here. So keep eyes on Nvidia to try and hold 162s and AMD to try and hold 7480s. Good retest so far. Boeing looked really good too, to the downside if they can crack this support, because they've already cracked this one, but right here at 175.30s. See if they end up holding that or not.
Microsoft moving below that pre-market low. Google coming down a little more. Q's rejecting yesterday low.
Anderson said, all the education here helped a lot. The stream, as always, couldn't wait those 10 minutes because the opportunity presented itself. But again, thanks for all the education provided, not just signals. No problem, Anderson. And again, the 10-minute thing is really just a rule of thumb. Me and Devin, knowing that there's a lot of newer traders here, people who are still young in their journey, you know, regardless of you having a couple years under your belt, you're still young in your journey. We like to tell people that because it can be very hectic. Those first 10, 20, 30 minutes can be where people lose a lot of their money, especially young traders, because they don't know what they're doing. They just jump into big moving candles, and they don't understand why. But if you understand why, Anderson, you have at it. I'm not stopping anybody who is more educated. But great work, man. Thank you for taking the initiative. Like Devin said, Microsoft breaking pre-market low. This is not a good sign for the tech sector. This is going to make Apple a little bit more weak, and XLK is going to still be rejecting this area. But we haven't broken any crazy supports on the sector or on Apple, so we're not in the dead waters yet. It's not bloody yet, but not a good short-term signal, especially if Microsoft holds under. Miggy says, on the SPY 15 minutes, seems like it wants to set up a 3-bar play, while on the 5 minutes, it's a possible bull flag. And yes, Miggy, possibly. And good job looking at multiple time frames to give yourself that better view.
And nothing's sold off crazy. We're just getting some good retests. We just got to see if we're going to get that follow through. Amazon's setting up a nice play still. Q still could be setting up to move higher.
Apple's still holding a really good pullback.
Yeah. The only thing that's not is Microsoft.
I really like Nvidia and AMD calls a lot. If you guys keep your stop losses at 74.80 and Nvidia at 162, I like those a lot. But again, like Devin just said, we don't have any strong confirmations yet. We've just had a good push and a good pullback. We don't have anything else yet. So of course, anything right now is aggressive.
Got to yesterday high, wait, see if it confirms.
Good call out.
Popping right now. They're hitting the bid on Netflix, see if they're going to keep that steam.
Yeah, if they can get over 289, 290, that's a very, very good start for them. You could see 295 from that level. 294, sorry. Okay, this song's going to put me to sleep. Changing that one. There we go. How's oil doing today? I have not looked. Down, but they got a really good rounding support. They're right up against my 75.25, so they're at a pretty strong crucial level. I'll have to watch that as well. End of day. Dollar's back up to 106, which if you guys were in the pre-market prep, we said a good bounce from the demand would bring at least a test of 106. They're going to be fighting that today, so keep eyes around that. But most likely over the next few days, you should get a bounce back towards this high right here at about 107.78, as long as this area of demand is holding. If they end up losing this, there's no telling where we can go. We could go all the way down to 100 flat. We have a lot of areas below that.
We got 1 minute on our 30-minute candle, first one of the market.
Dylan is adding some info to the Nvidia mention. If this next 15-minute candle closes, we can see a bullish 9/21 EMA cross. Great call out by Dylan, which those are both very popular EMAs. A lot of people love the 9, the 21. Qs are holding a really good spot. My bad.
You good? Tesla's 10 minutes getting some good buyer volume. Let's see what this next candle does.
Apple's still holding relatively well. AMD and Nvidia pushed up a little higher, but not past their next areas. Nvidia is fighting their yesterday's open. AMD popped above the yesterday low, and they're still under their yesterday open at 75.60. So AMD is actually lagging a little bit behind Nvidia, but they're both still under their previous day open.
30-minute candles are in.
All right, 30 minutes is over, guys. Let's check that 30-minute chart like Devin just said. And all we've seen, like we said, was a good push and a good pullback. We have a very long wick on the first 30-minute candle. So let's see what SPY wants to do here. Can we hold this short-term level? If we can, we should get a good bounce. If not, we will be slowly pulling back down towards today's open and possibly the pre-market low. So let's keep eyes on both of those scenarios in case things do pull back. Apple's still holding up very well. How's Microsoft? Still pushing a little lower. Nothing crazy yet. So as you guys can see, the king and queen of the market are not trading together today. Like I said, those are things you want to see line up when you want to see those bigger breakouts to the up or the downside. Netflix still having trouble with previous day open. And even after the crazy volatility in Meta, they're back down below today's open, but still above their pre-market low. So they're basically back into their initiating range. I'll go back to SPY and we'll just watch that for a little bit. Then I'll go back and switch around a bunch and see what's all moving, what's not. Of course, Devin too has tons of charts pulled up on different weights of the market, so he'll also be helping.
So still got a green candle right below yesterday high. Amazon getting a little bit of buyers. If it retakes 95.50, potentially pretty good. Netflix is holding up there.
Apple does have a good amount of indecision, Daffy. We just saw that Microsoft was fighting against it, and XLK really didn't do much with it. It just kind of pulled back. So it seemed like Apple was almost by itself on that push-up in the tech sector. It wasn't by itself, but it was pretty close. I like how SPY's still holding.
Need some buyer volume to come in. A little seller volume so far, last 3 candles on the 10-minute.
Amazon's potentially losing their Fibonacci as well. They need to hold over 95.30s for a better hold on the discretionary sector. Or else Tesla will be all alone.
Yeah, Dylan, most commodities are near all-time highs or at. Yeah, it's crazy.
Dylan in this live cattle ticker.
Hey, man, those steaks are getting expensive.
Oh, they are. And when you buy a cheap one, you know how skinny it is. It's totally fine, Fantastic John. I just thought you were yelling at me. It's totally fine. Also, I'd still like to point out, guys, Apple is still holding the short-term area I was talking about. It's kind of fighting the same spot SPY is fighting.
Google's holding a nice level. I like that. Same with Meta. Microsoft finally getting a little bit of buyers. Tesla at yesterday high. Let's see if we can get over. Netflix popping yesterday high, popping that previous level. Amazon trying 95.50 again. See if we can get over this.
Microsoft pulling back up, that's a great sign because this is one of the leading laggers right now, or leading downside tickers right now that have weight.
Same with Google, it's doing the same. I like it. I like it. Tesla getting over that yesterday high, 186, looking good.
Yeah, that one held really good. My break above level, guys, you can see from my watch list was 180-160, and then you have a bunch of targets. We've hit every single target after holding above 180-150. So really good push by Tesla with rising volume. Even got a reset candle, and they're holding yesterday's close and yesterday's lows. It's a really good push by Tesla today, even though it was, for the most part, almost by itself. Amazon pushed up initially, but they pulled back. It's kind of like what we're watching on Apple and Microsoft. We're basically waiting to see, can Microsoft catch up, which will help Apple increase its bullish momentum. If not, then we will see those fade together. And yeah, good mention by Dylan, which we also covered that. Them trying to hold the previous day high on XOY. They ended up holding it and pushed a new high just now. They need to hold a new high, though. So basically, bullish as long as 142.96 can hold is the short-term vague way of saying it. But great mention, Dylan. Good updates by everybody. And yep, good eye, D-Touch. Very good kind of hammer candle at support with good volume for Apple. Basically saying they look good as long as 145.75 holds, or 145.70s. A lot of things are slowing down, though. A lot of those dropping tickers slowed down. A lot of the rising indicators slowed down. A lot of needed follow-through on some of these moves. Netflix rejecting. Tesla finally slowing down, showing it is possible to slow down. Very impressive push by them this morning. Microsoft pushing lower. Like I said, guys, this is one of the leading laggers. If they end up holding down, this is not going to be good for Apple. This is not going to be good for these tickers that need Microsoft to hold support to push higher. We're getting a very weak opening by some of these tech tickers right now. Good call out, Christian Diaz. You're on it. I'm going to go back to SPY, guys, and then we'll go back and we'll switch to those charts again. I just had to see what was moving us, what was not. Sometimes it takes just looking around.
Some of banks still ain't done too much on the SPY. Still pretty tight ranges on both those.
Discretionary is still holding a really good level. It's really just tech that needs to pick up. Healthcare is trying to hold. Comms are weak, but still didn't break anything significant yet. Financials, like you just said, are holding.
All we need is buyer volume. If they get one
Exactly.
good buyer volume come in, they're gonna get a nice little pump for a minute.
How is everyone doing throughout the almost first 40 minutes of the market and almost first hour and a half of the stream? How's the stream, everybody? How are the updates? How are your accounts, if anything? Have you guys taken any trades yet? Are you guys just still watching to catch a more passive move? So far, we've only seen aggressive early on moves. Trying to look for those more passive opportunities. But how is everybody and how is everything? And D-Touch is correct. If I was to switch my chart and zoom out, you would see that we still haven't really done anything. We've just lowered open. That's it. We've reacted to the level below at 398.50s, and that's literally it. We have not done anything today. He is correct on that. Like he says, we are still in the overall range of 388 to about 403.50, 402 area.
It's still about to get increased in volume with a minute left.
Apple breaking that short-term support. This is not good for the tech sector, which is the heaviest sector of SPY, guys. XOK still holding today's open. Itchy trigger finger. Just be sure you understand what you are aiming for before you enter your trade. Red day, best trade was opening trade apparently, but I waited for confirmation and took a call and lost. Take a step back, Nam Lee, sorry if I'm saying that wrong. Give yourself a reset.
Nam Lee, it says best trade was opening trade, but you waited. You know, sometimes when you get that first initial trade and feel like you missed out, the best thing to do is to sit on your hands so you don't take a trade that maybe isn't that confident, but you just feel like you got a little bit of FOMO.
I don't look at them too often. Not financial. Great name, by the way. Love the name. But they are amazing to look at. I try to look at XOK or the triple Qs more. Plus, I do a really good job of switching around, so I don't have to check them as much as other people, because I'm already checking some of the more important weights of it. But yes, T triple Q is great to look at. That's by far the best name in this chat, though. Not financial advice. That's a really good name. Apple's still pulling back on the new low from recent move. We'll see if they pull back all the way to today's open or not. And if Microsoft wants to pull back to 243s. Nvidia testing the bottom of that support again. AMD already broke it. Like I said, no passive moves have been made yet. We've just seen good initiating moves. Tesla, of course, off to the races. They don't care what's going on. Missed the first triple Q puts. Hit stop loss. Got in again at the 13 SMA tap. Just waiting now. Nice, October Daniel. At least you have a plan. It's when you don't have a plan I get a little worried for some people. But a lot of you guys seem to be aiming at really good ideas. So as long as you have a stop loss, a target, you at least have that in mind, that's great. Never trade just randomly, though. And for some of you just now joining us, be sure to check out the first 20-ish minutes of the pre-market prep. This is where I cover SPY and the dollar on the bigger and the smaller time frames to really break down what scenarios we have in front of us. I never like to guess. I never like to just be bearish or just bullish. I like to cover both sides. While we're waiting to see if SPY wants to hold 399.60s, how was everyone's weekend? How was everyone's Thanksgiving? Did anyone do anything cool? Have any fun stories or fun moments or anything just short? But hopefully a lot of you guys got to relax at least one of those days that we had this past weekend. Oh, nice. Well, happy birthday to your daughter, D-Touch. 7 years old, man. That's crazy. Little brat. Worked all weekend? Hey, man, that OT. What kind of work do you do, Daniel? You don't have to say where exactly, of course. I don't want to pry into anyone's private life. Had a pretty good weekend. Hope you had a good Thanksgiving. I definitely did. I went to a very cool restaurant that I've never been to. It's a very fancy restaurant, so that was really cool. It was my first time having caviar. I've never had caviar before. Like a steak and lobster with like caviar on top of it. Oh, no OT. Rest in peace. Well, still though, is she getting that bag, Daniel? It's very nice to have a job rather than not have a job. Retail management in a large retailer. Hey, that's something. It was great, Sonia. Thanks for asking. How was yours? Mine was very relaxing. Bougie. Exactly, Taylor. Don't let your cousin or whoever that was tell you otherwise. My 2-year-old is on 24, so every other year will be on Thanksgiving. Oh, okay, nice. Morning, Brady. Running around this morning. Good to be back after this long weekend. I agree. Definitely nice to be back in the swing of things. Your sister said that. Yeah, if she's only 15 now, she definitely doesn't understand your ways, Taylor. It's okay. Don't let her make you feel old. Alright, SPY still holding a really good short-term level. That's a good sign. Microsoft's still not really helping anything. And Apple also pretty weak. Again, if we go to the XLK chart, guys, we have broken the short-term support that they were trying to hold to this initiating move. They ended up failing to break 132.80s, and now they've pulled back to the bottom of their range. So right now, we need to kind of keep eyes on, even if the market does move up higher, it doesn't matter. We need to keep eyes on XLK. This is the largest and most important sector of the market. This is not holding anything great, but it is still above today's open. So this is something we can keep our eyes on about the low 132s, high 131s. And if we keep support of this is a very good sign that SPY does have a chance to move higher. Because they've gotten a good bounce, but it was not from tech. That was from a combination of healthcare, discretionary holding up well, was not from comms. Financials helped out a little bit. Industrials helped out. Staples. So it looks like a lot of the smaller sectors helped out, but tech itself did not do anything for that recent SPY push off of the 390, basically the 400s. The high 399s, the low 400s. So really good 80% entry, really good retest so far, but nothing crazy yet. Again, needing the follow through that we didn't get here or here. Too busy cooking. I was finally able to relax on Sunday. What all did you end up cooking, Sonia? I'm sure you had a turkey or something in there, or a ham. Q's making a bull flag on the 5-minute. Great call out by JBait, guys. Definitely pay attention when you see that name pop up. Doing your best to save her. Probably correct on that, Sonia. What stock affects the QQQ the most? Apple. Apple and Microsoft. If I had to label just one. But as you can see, though, JBake, being the great trader he is, just labeled a lot of the heavyweights in the QQQ. Basically, October, Danielle, every time you've seen me look at XOK, I've basically just been looking at a more limited QQQ, because there's not as many tickers in this. Because this, of course, doesn't include discretionary, this doesn't include comms, this is just straight tech. But when you jump over to QQQ, you're looking at a kind of a combination of tech sectors. Bueller, do you do this full time? I stream every day, Monday through Friday, or most days. I'm not going to say every day, but Monday through Friday, I try to aim to stream 45 minutes before open, and I try to stream 2 to 3 hours after open. We do this every single week, and we've been doing this since the beginning of October on YouTube, but on Discord, I've been doing this for 3+ years. Just streaming every day, calling out good updates, mentioning good levels, trading basically off of the same system I've looked at for every day the past 3 years. Again, just for a quick sneak peek into a good video, we have that featured video, the workshop number 11 video, and that basically covers everything that we do in here. So if you want a better breakdown, jump into that first before listening to these. But yes, I do this full time. Enchiladas, several Indian dishes, breakfast and dinner each day. Damn, Sonia, you're a warrior. That's all I could say. I bet it smelled pretty good at your house, though. All thanks to you as well. Yeah, Tesla's on complete methamphetamines today. Up almost 2% today. That's crazy. 1 3/4 point. And man, one of y'all were on that news very early. Good job, whoever called it out. But yes, BlockFi, the crypto lender, is filing for a bankruptcy right now. Chapter 11 bankruptcy in the United States. Like I said, and this was a couple weeks ago when the FTX SBF crap first started dropping everywhere, the whole drama. But I showed y'all an interview with the Coinbase CEO, and he was talking about even if Coinbase isn't at risk, this is going to bring more risk to the crypto market because now it's going to bring less trust into these brokerages like crypto or like crypto.com, FTX, Coinbase, Binance. It's going to bring a lot of just big volatility and indecision in what's going on. People are going to be very fearful of what's happening because the brokerages aren't taking care of themselves. So what is that going to make other people below them think? It's going to make them feared and make them scared. Nvidia got a pretty good pullback, so did AMD. Nothing crazy on those yet. And Amazon finally back down to this previous day high. Let's see if we can get some good bullish reversals off this 94.30, 94.50 area. If not, we will be breaking this as support, and we'll have to retest today's open, which you guys should be adding this today's open on any of your charts by now. It's been well over 30 minutes. We're 50 minutes into the open. Draw it on your Qs. Draw it on SPY. Tesla, you probably don't need it yet because it's so high up there now. But if you want to do it for practice, go ahead. BlockFi claims it has over 256 million in cash on hand. That's not going to be enough. Big number, but that's not going to be enough. Oh, my bad, Anderson. I'll pull up your trade review here in a second. I was just still watching SPY and everything. We are losing control of that short-term support. So we are going to get some stocks breaking through their pre-markets, their open price, their whatever level they were near. So let's go check some of those. Tesla breaking 185. That's the previous day open. If you don't want to take the initial move under 185, watch for a retest to reject 185. Again, don't always take the first jump just because you can. Watch for a retest if you don't like looking for the open range breakout. Pull back on Apple, we already saw that. Pull back on Nvidia, we'd already seen that because they failed to hold their previous day low. Same thing for AMD. Amazon's down in that area that we were mentioning. Getting a lot of better calculated pullbacks now. This is what I wanted to see. Meta breaking pre-market. Meta or Coinbase still holding today's open. Google trying to break a new low. They already did that, but they're still under their pre-market low. Not a good sign by them. Microsoft breaking through that next level. They were weak all morning long. One of our main concerns today. Chewy. Today I called out Boeing under 175.30s. If you guys did take this, I would take some profits now because you've now hit your previous day low into your previous day open. So if you took the Boeing play when I mentioned it under 175.30s, take profits. There's no need to sit in this trade much longer. Even if it does continue lower, who cares? We're focused on taking profits at the first target. So good job on Boeing, guys. That trade idea worked. Nvidia and AMD did not on those short-term pullbacks. Those were very early on, though. But great work so far on some of these mentions, winning or losing. And yeah, the dollar is pumping. They're fighting 106 still, which is what I mentioned earlier. And SPY still holding today's open. Basically seeing a very good aggressive pullback, but no follow through. Again, they got a good push, but no follow through anything significant. They just basically broke a short-term support. Right now in the pre-market, we're going to see, can they break today's open? Can they break the 398.90s? And can they push down to the pre-market low? This will be what bears want to do to see a push lower. Great job, October Danielle, on those puts. Be sure to take some profits or scale out. Don't be greedy. This is something a lot of people do. I'm just looking out for you. I'm not telling you what to do. But make a habit of taking profits at your first target or scaling out most of your position at your first target. Get really good at making it to your first target. Do that for a while. That's to everybody, not just October. Is that your real name, by the way? Your first name's actually October? Oh, okay, awesome. October's already taking profits with a small account. Great work. Round of applause for October Danielle walking us through their trade. Let me go back to BA, guys. I have to take a screenshot of this. Somebody was asking about it. Back to SPY, back to SPY, back to SPY. Scroll up. Alright, let's pull up some trade reviews. I got a couple to look at now. So here is Anderson's. If it'll open. Oh, here it is. I'll try to keep it to the left so you guys can still see SPY. See if it's destroying us or not. Here's his gain. Okay, thank you for blacking stuff out because that makes it easier. But he took a little over 15%. As you can see in that position. I'll go ahead and exit that. But he said, my plan this morning, as said on the YouTube live, was watch 37.50 for upside and 37.20 for downside as we broke. All right, and right there, giving himself a plan before it's even opened. Giving himself a good idea of what to look for possibly. As we broke above 37.50, I had a rejection point at 37.65, so I wasn't trying to go long. Reward was not that high, it was low. So at my rejection point, 37.65, I saw a rejection on the 1 minute and entered puts. As I get in, puts my point was high of pre-market 37.38 area. Quick 15% and 21%, couple minutes in and out. Great work taking that too. Let me zoom in a little. So he saw the rejection of an intended level he was looking at. He saw bearish pressure. He didn't like the risk reward on this first push. He didn't like that this wasn't really that far. So it didn't take longs. Great idea, by the way. Looks like it would have worked out either way. But it ends up getting into puts as it's rejecting, giving him good risk reward, possibly setting a stop loss here. Anderson, be sure to type that out too, not just for me or for other people, but for yourself in the future. Mind, where would you have probably had a good stop loss at? And it ended up reversing back down, and it took profit back below today's open, near today's lows. So great work by Anderson getting that 15% with really good reasoning too. Beautiful job, man. And then here is my boy Sherman, Jonathan Sherman. But quick trade for 5%, hold of the 146 level with the target at high of day. Lowering volume confirms a good sell there. So let me... Oh, and that was all you typed. Cool. Okay, so he'd like to push above it. Didn't want to get in instantly. Wanted to wait until he had a better reversal on it to get a better pullback. Kind of like Anderson's trade where he went against resistance. He didn't just jump into calls. He waited till it had a better retest against a better level. And then he got into some puts, actually, instead of continuing to go long. But as you can see here, Sherman waited for it to push up. Waited for it to come back down. He liked the low volume. He got in. And then as it ended up against that other high that it had low volume again, giving him good short-term indication that he should possibly take profits here so he doesn't want to get bit back in the ass. So great work, Sherman. And let's look at one more. Devontae. Devontae said, watched the fib of the initial SPY move and liked how we were holding, so I entered calls aiming for high of day. But tech looked weak as we came up the fib, so I sold for an early 8%, which that's still a great percentage, man. Too many times do I hear... other people say, man, when I was in this chat, they look down upon, 10% trade. They look down upon, if you don't make 50%, it's not a trade. Bullshit. Anybody who says 5% or 8% is not good is full of shit or trying to sell you something, or they just don't know what the hell they're talking about. So don't ever let anyone tell you that. But anything around 10%, 5%, 15%, 20%, these are amazing percentages to aim for. These are passive percentages, or even what you can call a base hit, to aim for over and over and over. So great work not looking down upon your quotation small gains. They're not small. But he said he liked the good push. He liked the reversal. He got in and he ended up taking profits again back into the high of day. Great work, Devontae. And guys, what are we getting here on the 5-minute? We're possibly getting an inverted hammer, or a hammer, sorry, at support with high volume. This volume and this body do not match. We are possibly getting a good bullish reversal off of these lows here at today's open. Sorry for the ranting, guys. I had to go through a couple gains, but it looks like y'all had some really good... The stop alert was right above. Okay, awesome, Anderson. I just didn't see it then. But great work, Devontae. Great work, Anderson. Great work, Sherman. Great work, October. Great work, everybody who's been posting their trades, trade reviews, updates. I love the teamwork in here. Very strong bullish candle here, though. Let's see if this can help the market reverse, or if this is just going to be a short-term uphold before another leg down. To know when this is going to happen, too, is watching the tech sector especially. So XLK broke support. It looks like if they end up breaking 131.70s and holding, that is not a good sign. Microsoft's already doing that, so watch for a break of 243. And if Apple, the final leg holding tech up, if this ends up breaking not just today's open, but breaks all of these levels here in 144.50, this will bring the next leg down on tech, which can help SPY bring its secondary leg down. I'm not saying it will, but there's a high possibility. So keep your eyes on those. Today I mentioned AMD. We ended up cutting it, 74.80. The idea got cut. Nvidia got cut. And Boeing, we took profit. So great work on a couple of the ideas that I've mentioned. We were also watching for Amazon to try and pull back and hold the previous day high. They failed that. So it's not like we entered or exited anything yet on that one. But we have gotten the pullback that we wanted. So it's good to at least note that. Ow. Apple holding pretty well. Tesla's a little bit iffy. You got to really pay attention to what level to go off of. They're at a really good level, too. They opened here Friday, pushed lower down to 180. So this is kind of their initiating range. They've broken that range, hit past it, and pulled back to try and hold a good short-term level within that range at 183.50. So basically watching this gray area here on Tesla. It's basically between this meat and this level here. So if they break this whole area, they will get a pullback. If they hold it, there's a good chance they go retest at least the high of day. Let me go back to spot. You guys are probably wondering, what the heck is going on? Your first trade, SPY call at the low of day. Just be sure to switch through some of your top weights, Steve, and also pay attention to where your stop loss is a good spot. So if you do see a good break, good weakness across multiple stocks in different sectors, this will give you early indication to get out. We still have 80 people in here. Very nice to see. We hit like 130 this morning. That's the biggest number I've seen on concurrent viewers. So that was pretty cool. And I'll definitely try to update you as well, Steve. I'm not going to leave you out to dry. If I see a lot of things pulling back, you will definitely hear it from me. We already got a pretty good short-term pullback by a lot of things. We're really just paying attention to see what's next. The fact Apple's still holding is a good sign, too. King of the market, always a good sign. What's up, Tony? Glad to have you in here. Cleanest levels every day. Thank you, Keanu. Appreciate that. And thank you, everybody who's been supporting the streams, not just joining them, but also sharing them to people, sharing them on your social medias. I appreciate each and every one of you. It definitely does help get some people in here. And again, we're not here to sell anything. I'm simply just here giving updates. You guys are giving y'all's updates. We're working together to call out the best possibilities on some of these moves. And that's my favorite part about these streams. It's not just like, all right, follow this guy. It's everybody. It's a wholesome thing. Everybody's working together. What's up, VEGF? Scaled into supply puts as it showed weakness, breaking 400. Third 15-minute candle, 3 contracts. Next candle was big drop momentum, took 2 below 399.50. Which is the 9 EMA, and then took the last at 399. Wow, that's crazy, dude. And that's a really good trade review. And you know, a lot of people would be like, damn, it only moved $1. It's like, what? $1? Bro, that's a huge move. Saw Keanu scaled in also. B was saying Apple, Microsoft losing support. So I was like, all right, all good sign. And there you go, right there. As I'm saying it, using these to be as like a combining indicator, like a tool. That's all these streams are. So great work, Jonas. Round of applause for him taking a 3 contract position on SPY and selling $1 later, but also showing you guys the importance of scaling out properly. Great work, man. Beautiful, beautiful trade. Be sure to go over a review, circle your entry, circle your exit, kind of discuss some of your thoughts that might have been going on in your head during the trade, before the trade, after the trade. How did you feel? You know, did you feel confident? Did you feel like it wasn't as effortless as it probably should be? A couple of good things to always note, because if the trade does not feel effortless, you are not ready. And that goes out to everyone. I'm not even just talking to Jonas. If it feels anything more than effortless, you need to go back test, you need to go review more, you need to go visualize. Something is off. I did lose on calls. It was pulling back, but my green trade was more than my red trade. All right, well, good stuff. And no, I don't like to double dip, but sometimes you have to understand the importance of when to get in, when to not trade, basically. And regardless of you taking that first L, I'm very glad you had the mentality to come back, take another trade, and not let it ruin you. A lot of the time when we take that second trade, or that double dip that I like to say, that double dip ends up being a more emotional trade a lot more of the time than a lot of people like to admit. But to have the mentality to come back after a losing trade, take the other side with reasoning too, not just doing it because you lost, but doing it with reasoning is a very, very strong sign, Jonas. So very, very good work, man. Pat yourself on the back. That was probably more important than the actual trade itself. Oh yeah, these are public streams. I guess if you guys drop a thumbs up or a like on the stream, please do so. There's over 80 of you in here, so please be sure to drop a like on this. I don't normally promote that because these are normally private streams. But today, since we're public, definitely be sure to drop a like on the stream. Thumbs up, whatever you call it nowadays. But any like is appreciated. JBake said potential 80% entry on Goog if we reject the pre-market low. My bad, I'm on Google. You do have your pre-market low right there. They're currently at it. Pre-market low. One of the main differences between Goog and Google are the voting rights. Stock shareholders have voting rights. I think it's on the Google. They do not have it on Goog, or vice versa. I don't remember which one, to be honest. Nice lowering volume on the pullback. I was happier I was able to cut 3 calls. It was dropped past 400 for a small loss than I was able to catch the puts after. And it could definitely be a mentally tolling decision. Dollar rejecting the previous day close. Great call out. Anytime you guys see DXY typed out, somebody's mentioning the dollar, which is a almost perfect inverse of the equity market, or SPY, what we like to look at. So I'm not going to say it's a perfect inverse because it's not, but it's a very close one. Okay, so I was right. The L has the voting rights. Goog does not. Thank you for repeating that, Leland, just so we know for sure. Alright, Daffy, I'm going to pull your trade review up. Don't get nervous. Let's talk that shit. Alright, so let's see what he says. I am not the best doing my reviews, but this is how I got 13% on Tesla. Indecision candle on the 5-minute with OK volume. You can see my target was the area that we first broke out. That price first broke out. Wait, you were shorting, right? I just want to make that 300% sure before I go on. Yo, good morning, Jack. Glad to have you in here. You do have that info, you little insider. It was a short. Okay. So Daffy, and I just wanted to make sure because it was... The way it was typed, it made me think, oh, he entered here, exited, but it makes more sense now. So he entered into this doji with lowering... Which, props to you, man. Seriously, to be able to grab this at the high of day is very hard to do because at this time, you don't know that that's the high of day. You just know that it's a good slowing down candle. If the next candle would have opened green and held, this actually would have continued pumping. So good job having a good stop loss in place. But he said entry was on the doji candle, so we ended up getting in. And he targeted the previous breakout spot, not where we jumped from, but where we jumped into, slowed down, and rebroke. So instead of aiming way down here, he's aiming for a very good relative area that probably does need to be tested anyway. So even if this isn't bearish, it ends up holding here and bouncing, it doesn't matter. This is a very good spot to at least retest. So very good job taking profits at that spot. 1 second. Somebody just hack my Spotify? What the heck's going on here? Alright, there we go. Sometimes it does that. Good stuff, though, Daffy. Round of applause for Daffy. Seriously, great work on that. I like that trade a lot. 13% too on Tesla, catching that high of day move. That is definitely not, you know, it's super easy to get. That takes a good amount of time to visualize. And some people will say, oh, well, that was kind of a lucky entry. I think you just randomly get... No, I promise you, Daffy looks at this stuff so much, almost as much as I do, that he has the confidence because he's visualized it so much. It's not like it's the first time he's seeing it pop up. It's probably the 300th time, the 3,000th time he's seen that pop up. So he took good risk with good reward there at the bottom. He had a clear stop loss in place. He had a really good risk-reward ratio, in my opinion, with more room to the downside than upside, especially after that initial pump. Plus, Tesla's the only thing that really did that move. You know, not a lot of stocks really moved up like this, so that was a very good find. So risky, but good risk, good reward. Alright guys, we have the better retest, so definitely keep eyes on Amazon. If we end up rejecting this and we see a break under 93.90s, shorts look really good. If we end up seeing a hold of this area and they bounce above 94.50, longs are going to start looking pretty good, especially if we get a better retest on top, now that we've broken it. So let's look out for those moves. Apple's still holding very well at today's open/low. Same for SPY. Official HU2 said QQQ coming to the pre-market high. Great call out. It is very close. Pre-market high is actually way up here, but pretty close, like you said, coming up to it. Great mention. Amazon SPY, come on, one of you, please do something. Yeah, I wish I could just call up Amazon and be like, yo, man, drop some news. I do like a lot of these pullbacks, though. I didn't look at Netflix again. I was hoping they would pull back, too, and they did. Okay, good. So we got some really good pullbacks now. Can they hold and get a good bounce? Can we get good moves off of them? Or are they going to fail and see us move lower? Look through our sectors real quick. So XLK, I said it would need to move lower under 131.70s. They failed to do so far, but they're also still under today's open. So you need to watch for a break above today's open for a good push by tech stocks. This would be Apple, Microsoft. Go to the healthcare. You can see healthcare still holding what looks like a bull flag. They're propped up on this pole, still holding a good higher low of yesterday, but they're still under good resistance as well. So you're going to need to see moves outside of that range. Second largest sector is healthcare, but it's also the least popular sector. It's totally fine, official HU2. I figured as much, but I still appreciate the call out, even if it is off by a little bit. It was still a good mention, because even if it wasn't right up to it by the cent, you are correct, it was pulling up to it. You're already out of that trade, Sherman. Good stuff. Yeah, that was a good mention. I like that one a lot, too, when JBake said it, because it wasn't like it's the first time it touched this level. It broke it, retested it here, retested it here. So it does have a really good 80% entry to the downside as long as it holds under 96.50. I like that one a lot, posted by JBake here on the YouTube chat. Tony, for a link to the course, DM me, just because there's a couple different deals going on right now around different servers and stuff. So I don't want to like link it to you and then you pay full price and then get screwed. If you're already a member of something, I want to make sure. So please DM me on whatever platform you know me on. I'm not trying to promote anything here either. I'm not really big on promoting stuff. I really just like to kind of cover stuff, go over it. I don't really want to sit here and promote myself or anyone, really. I don't want this to be like that. But I do still want to answer your question, so be sure to DM me wherever you can. I'm very open with what I'm trying to do. Do not want to be scummy or weird at all. I've been placed in a server that I own, and I help lead this community, but a lot of the members that I have, a lot of the members and a lot of the communities I help with, I always notice the same pattern. I see a lot of people trying to escape past groups or past problems, and that's a great thing. I'm very glad to see people still pushing to try and learn and earn and all that great stuff, but you have to take it slow, take it in stride. If you've been a part of a community that was failing, or the owners weren't who they said they were, or you just something scummy was just happening, something greasy, and you end up needing to go into another group or find other people, it's very hard to do that, you know, and still have that trust with you, because it's very hard to trust another after getting screwed by, you know, a previous group or a previous person, a leader, someone you look up to. But take your time. There's amazing communities out there. Took some Google puts here, stop loss at 97. Great call out by JBake. Definitely keep eyes on his trade plan, guys, if you're joining him. We only dropped 30 frames in today's stream. That's really good. That's almost, it doesn't even equal to 0.1% of the frames, so that's good. Very smooth stream today. Hopefully the rest of the week keeps up like that. All right, Fantastic John, I'm going to put you on spot. Let's look at Fantastic John's trade. All right, so he said, did not like this trade because I tend to lose trades on reversals, but it was pretty juicy. Entered puts as SPY had an inverted hammer on the 5-minute and failed to make the new high. So we had a couple inverted hammer. We have one kind of failed hammer and then an inverted. Very good find. And he found another one right here. So I'll leave my cursor there. But he said, Apple on the 5-minute looked like a dark cloud cover, closing the 50% of the previous green candle. Good pattern recognition, Fantastic John. And he said, aside from Apple's stop loss, I also had a stop loss for SPY of 400.61 and XOK over 132.83, which, if you guys have been paying attention, those are the exact levels I have here. 461, that was a good stop loss for him. He said XOK, whoops. He said XOK at 132.83. That was the level that we watched today in pre-market, or right after open we looked at it. It's a very good find. And then Apple. So not only did he find good areas of where price could reject or continue rejecting from, he did this to give himself more confluence on his SPY trade. But let me go back to that. Or I'm sorry, his Apple trade, not SPY. But he said, entered 3 145 put contracts on the inverted hammer and price was rejected at high of day. So where did he enter? He didn't enter here. Here, let me zoom in. He didn't enter here. He didn't enter here. He didn't enter here. Because they're all still holding support. Nothing really gave him indication. They just were rejecting good spots. So we had initial signals, right? Ends up rejecting a fourth time. A good rejection again. Finally breaks his short term. I'm going to guess that's the VWAP or 9 EMA. Or either either or. But really good break of the level. So he said stop loss was a close over 146.53, the intraday resistance level, basically the high of day. So he's watching for it to break over this as a stop loss. He indicated that. Ends up getting in on the inverted hammer. So he didn't enter here. He didn't enter here. He didn't even enter the big red candle. He waited till they pulled back up and showed more weakness weakness by buyers, strength by sellers. So great find getting in after multiple combinations of signals, not just from the Apple chart, but from the XLK chart, from SPY, giving him more confluence on this. So I'm very happy to see you taking the risk on a trade you said you normally don't do as well on. Ends up breaking down 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40 minutes later. He's trimming for 11% on the intraday support of 145.86, which you guys can see. They pushed up. They held here, so this is going to be a good target in the future if you end up getting into puts. He ends up getting into them up here and taking profits at that exact support. So he trimmed, he said trimmed 15% as price approached the golden pocket of the day's range. This is again from today's open to today's high. He's taking profits as it's approaching the golden pocket, which is a very known bounce or reversal area that we like to look at. And then he takes full profits as it makes it back to today's open. So this is actually a perfect retest trade. Nobody is probably taking a better trade than this today. And he took profits on the final contract at 25%. Great work, John. I'm not joking. This is probably trade of the day right here. He used the signals of XLK and SPY to help give him a better find or better confluence signal on his Apple trade. Great work, man. Seriously. I'm not joking. That was probably trade of the day. Everybody give a round of applause for fantastic John. My bad, John, I didn't see they were 1 minute candles. Either way, though, that was a beautiful trade. He got in with a good reasoning, multiple good reasons, and got out, not just at one price target, but knowing he has multiple contracts, taking profits at multiple targets. That was beautiful. So many good trades today, and I would genuinely say that was probably trade of the day. Daffy's was pretty close to that. He basically did the same thing with his first play on Tesla. That was very clean. Devontae kind of did something similar to that. Sherman kind of did something. Both of them kind of did the opposite to the upside, but still really basically the same thing. And Easy For You basically took that trade as well, but for Bank of America. So a lot of you guys are catching these retest plays. All right, I've been talking too much. Let's look at what the trade's doing. So JBake said he's up 10% on Google puts. You can scale out here if you like the low of day. So if you guys have multiple contracts, take some of your profits here. He has taken some called out initial profit taking as they rejected. Great work on Goog and Google, regardless of which one you guys are trading. Very good retest of the downside play by JBake on the YouTube chat. Great work. Round of applause for JBake.
Fade.
What's going on, Devin?
Had an unexpected visitor.
And it wasn't Taylor.
It wasn't Taylor.
Speaking of Taylor, where's Coinbase at?
SPX and SPY make a new low a day.
JBake says 15% now, everybody. Definitely start scaling out. Great mention by JBake very early on, too. He called that out while this was still a green candle bouncing against this. He called out potential 80% entry, got in onto some puts, setting stop loss a little higher than the pre-market low, and ended up moving down. So great work by him so far. Seriously, just fell into his direction instantly. Oh my gosh, Taylor. This trade review is insane. I'll pull this up in a minute when we get another one, and I'll pull them up. Good stuff there, everybody. Anybody took Google on that, I'm very glad I took time to break down his trade plan. Since he's not in here in voice, he was typing it all out. I wanted to make sure everything he was saying was out there, because JBake is a very strong trader when it comes to retest plays. If you guys ever see Leland or you ever see JBake, it's seriously a good time to catch a play. Even during some of their losses, you end up learning so much about some of the trade that you're taking. Entry, exit, some of the reasoning for both sides. Always nice to see. As you guys can see, though, we have a team of very strong traders, and this is only because of time and effort. We didn't just pop up and be like, all right, we're good. It took time and effort for everybody to be where they are right now. SPY moving to the pre-market low. Didn't quite touch it, but got very, very close.
Tesla holding up strong, though.
Yeah, that's very
I like
impressive.
that chart.
SPY ends up holding. That one definitely looks good for more. Same for Apple. Apple's still holding their today's open.
Got a weird vibe on the stocks. Nothing's really in sync at all. You got Google and Microsoft really getting beat down. Tesla up. Apple sideways. A little bit volatile today. You got big moves up, big move down on Netflix. Yeah, let's always seem to get juice quicker, Leland. I don't know what it is about them, but they definitely be getting the juice.
It does always feel like greed staircases and fear falls. I remember a time, Leland, where you said you suck at puts. It was a very long time ago. Look at you. Now you love seeing it. We feed on the fear of the greedy. It needs to be our slogan.
Got about 3 minutes and 30 seconds on this next 30-minute candle. SPY holding that pre-market low.
Jonas, I completely agree. Of course, it's against resistance, but like you said, it is a very good base so far. This could help the tech sector, Apple, Microsoft. This would also be good for SPY if we saw XLK push back over today's open. So far, though, we have just a bearish retest, but he is correct about a slight base building because we have a good volume on a candle here, and we failed to break that low. So this is going to need to be broken to see a continuation down. If not, we'll see a break over today's open. We can look for moves to the upside. Good mention, Jonas. I like that you put your Discord name in there too, because that helps me out a ton. Which I already have you memorized, but hopefully others will catch on.
Netflix battling with yesterday low. So it holds that. It'll be looking pretty good. But if it gets under that, 281.50 is looking good. XOM's just not moving today.
Energy is pretty flat. They took that first initial drop in extended hours, but yeah, they've just been basing ever since then.
Been like a weird thing I keep seeing with energy. All these stocks are way up, and oil just keeps getting smashed. It's a low PE trade.
All sectors are red. Great call out by Daffy. So far, XOK not getting any buyers off this support here. Looking more like a bearish retest as time goes on for the tech chart. And remember, guys, it's very easy to get lost when you're on these smaller time frames. If you're wanting to get a bigger picture view, get back out to that bigger time frame and really break down what has happened so far. We had a good inside candle into a lower open over across the past 2 days, indicating potential high of this move so far. But again, we haven't really broken anything crazy yet. But I'd say right now, risk reward on the bigger time frames is definitely in hands of the sellers right now, as long as they maintain under 403.50. Very easy to get lost though looking at that. As you guys can see, 398.50, that level in between that we're looking at, that's today's pre-market low. That's where we're currently bouncing right now. So we're at a very, very, very crucial area from the bigger time frame.
Yeah, Amazon that caught support at opening price coming back up to yesterday high. See if it rejects back off of that, if it's going to retake it. And it's retaking that right now. See if it confirms. On Amazon. Tesla trying to do the same thing with that yesterday high. Netflix held that yesterday low. New can open up over top of it. See how that works out. And we also got that new 30-minute candle.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, let me take a look at that. Got a good rejecting candle, and in between a good breakdown candle. Now we're testing support. Good price action so far. That 398.30 is key right now. That is a huge level on this time frame and the bigger time frames. I have my eye on that gap that the dollar has on the 1 hour. Back end Qs hit the 13 SMA for a third time. Great mention, October. I love the teamwork today, though, and this is a daily basis thing. It's not like most days we don't have teamwork. Every single day I'm seeing you guys give great feedback, great mentions, great updates. Dude, my Redfin shares are kicking ass. What are they doing today?
Redfin.
Oh, they're doing great. They're still in my range though. They have not broken. Oh, they have broken higher. They just need to get over the GP now, the golden pocket, and they're looking good to about 8. I like that one a lot though.
That's
Honestly,
one of those. I don't think Redfin's gonna fail the second time. There's no way.
well, they got rid of a lot of their toxic parts of their company, so that's what I liked about it the most. So that's why I got in. Plus, it's a really good value right there.
I mean, what are the chances of stock getting delisted twice, though? You know what I mean?
Luck and coffee.
Oh, that's true.
How is a L? Oh, LK is back up, but how's AK LKNCY? They're both on the market. Okay, well, I don't remember when LK got back, but I do remember LKNCY.
Yeah, I never heard LK came back.
And now LK can't even load now. What the heck?
I was about to say. You seen a chart you weren't supposed to see, Josh.
I think so. I just pulled it up. I swear to God. It was there for a second, and then I type LKNCY and it goes away. But I think it was lagging and showing the LKNCY chart because when I switched, it didn't change. I think I was looking at an old chart. But yeah, LK used to be a really cool company to trade. They had a really awesome options chain. They moved so much. Me and Devin traded that one a pretty good amount.
You should trade that thing almost every day.
For real, I was so excited for it.
I've never seen a stock so small move so much.
I don't even drink coffee, but I love trading LK.
That thing would move 10, 15% like every day.
The golden era. Time for a vacation to Japan if the dollar continues holding above 105 and goes back up. Yeah, man. And I did see a lot of people do that, go on vacation, exchange their currencies, and get a lot more back for them because the dollar is just worth so much more than so many different currencies right now. Which is normally the case, but it's by a larger margin right now. And they're actually producing a pretty good reversal candle at demand. So again, I did talk about this first push not being that strong. The second push might be a lot bigger than that one. You might see them go up to 109s from here. So I'm not saying it will happen, but as long as they hold this area of demand, there's a very high possibility that you see that push, which will bring more bearish pressure on the equity market. But if they break that demand, you can look for some more longs on the equity market because that'll be good for equities. Apple not holding very well. How's XOK doing? XOK breaking lower, as I said. If they don't hold that base, it's not going to look good. So far, no hold. Looks like the XOK sector wants to continue lower. We'll see, though. Just like most of these moves, they need follow through. Microsoft gave us good early initial signals saying it's not totally bullish, guys. So that was a cool little first 5-minute candle by Microsoft today.
Leland, you like the butcher shop not too far from me. They get their Wagyu shipped over, then they butcher it themselves.
Jesus. Get as fresh as you can. I've still only had that one Wagyu steak from Dylan that was from Japan. I'll have to get another soon.
Best way to spend a cool $150 real quick.
Yeah, Dylan got it for me. I think it was my last year's birthday or it was Christmas last year. I can't remember when he got it for me, but either way, that was definitely one of the best gifts I've been given. Super expensive Wagyu steak. The container for it was so cool too, dude. I was so surprised. I was kind of skeptical about how they ship a steak to you, but it was actually really cool how the packaging was.
And the dry ice.
Yeah, the dry ice, everything. That was so cool. Leland and his Wagyu beef. Dude, literally. Leland lives off Red Bull and Wagyu. He doesn't know water. He doesn't know other foods. It's just Wagyu, Red Bull. That's all he knows. He eats... Yes, he does eat Wagyu for breakfast. Don't let him lie to you. Yeah, with a certificate and everything, Leland. It was pretty cool. It even shows where the cow that you're eating is from. Like, where was it from? Which pasture? It's pretty cool. Because they say, which, I mean, I could totally agree with this. They say that the Wagyu from Japan is better than from here because it's more organically grown or whatever. But either way, dude, Wagyu in general is just so good.
Well, doesn't the Japan Wagyu get, like, daily massages?
Well, it depends. Some of them do, like, crazy stuff. Some of them don't. There's like there's even higher tier Wagyu once you're in Japan, but all of it's high tier, of course, but some of it's like heaven level. They like feed them different grass. They don't raise them the same.
An interesting candle in the 10-minute right now with about 20 seconds left.
Amazon's holding really well at 94.30s. And yeah, if we're getting a second interesting candle on SPY, that's going to definitely want to bring in some buyers soon. But guys, do not be biased. Yes, this looks good for bulls as long as they hold 398s. But if they break 398s, there's no telling how far we could drop. We could drop to 397.20. We could go to 396. We could go to 395, 394. So be very careful. But risk on the intraday chart is in favor of bulls as long as they hold 398. I'm pretty much just saying 398 because it's all the way up to 398.50 that there are really good levels in between that 50-cent interval. There are a lot of really good levels in between there. You can grab the pre-market low. You got the 398.50 from the daily time frame, but 398 is a very good psychological number, just kind of set in your head and remind yourself that if we're holding that, it does look good for bulls. If we break that, it gives bears a chance of pulling back more aggressively. We've already seen them start us lower on the day. We've seen them take us back up to resistance. We've seen them take us back down below our today's open. So if anything, we've just seen sellers take us lower. Ah, you hear that, Leland? You got yourself a private Canadian plug for Wagyu.
Tesla over yesterday again. Trying to take out that previous day high. That could be nice.
Very impressive moves by Tesla while everything else is slowing at support or breaking support. Amazon's holding up really well, so it looks like discretionary, which is the only green sector right now, by the way. Very ugly chart on theirs. Ritalin is a better choice. Amazon holding that previous day high very well so far. Amazon and Tesla are like the only two that look really good for continuation higher. Netflix possibly if they can get back over 285s. Tesla really does have a mind of its own. To be fair, though, too, Tesla's been taking down, or been being beaten down ahead of a lot of other tickers across the market. So, to be fair, it's not like they had to drop today with the market. So, if any stock is going to go against everyone or go against the grain, it is going to be Tesla. So, that one makes sense technically as well. So, it's not like that one's too crazy. But, yeah, it does have a mind of its own. I agree to that. Paper trading the rest of the day for me. Those two trades were good enough for me for my mental state. Good stuff, Jonas, and good job not just taking it like, oh, I need to keep taking real trades. No, you can still trade. Just don't, put yourself in a position where you're going to screw yourself mentally. I like that you said that, and now you're going to be trading mental trades. Great work. And I hope more people take that example as well. I say it every stream just about. Sometimes Sylvia does it. You'll see Taylor do it. You'll see some of us do it. But it's really good to take, 1 to 3 trades and then stop taking real trades. Take some mental trades if you really have to sit there and still look at your charts. It's best to sit on your hands and really visualize what's ahead of you for the next day.
New high day, Tesla. Very weak, though, but new high day. Giving it some volume.
Leland.
Some disconnection with SPY and Tesla.
SPY trying its best to defend this 398. Totally fine, October. You stuck to your plan. You didn't let anything get in your way. Through win and through loss, as long as you stick to what you planned beforehand, that is what's important. Now you can review it and see, all right, where did I not mess up, but where did I slip up? Where did you possibly not see something? But yeah, like Leland said, don't feel that you have to force one more. If you see the opportunity, take it. If not, no need to push it. Losing is a part of the game, but if losing is going to take up your account, you're doing something wrong. I'm not even talking to October anymore. I'm just saying in general. But how is the stream so far, guys? We've been going for about 2.5 hours. How is the stream so far? How are the updates? How are some of the teams posts? Again, this isn't just about me or Nerdy Bicep. Some of the team updates here by the YouTube chat have been excellent today. We had Nvidia and AMD trade plans not work. Good stops in place. We had BA workout from my day trade idea. Google from JBake did really good. Almost 20% on that one. So we got some really good trade ideas, some really good mentions, updates. The team itself has been posting really good. A lot of you guys have been posting really good updates on your own trades or what you see on your charts. Always welcome to call that out with you guys in here. And notice how you never see anyone come in here and say, all right, who caught that with me? Who caught that with me? Who caught that with me? We really don't care about that. We care about growing. We don't really care about recognition or getting credit for small moves here and there. We're just here to grow. Focus on the growth, not on the recognition. Awesome. Very happy to hear that, October and Sherman. Thank you guys for saying that. Very engaging. I do not even pay attention to time until you mention how long it has been. As I say, time fly here. JBake stopped out on his runners at break even. Not letting himself go red on his contract.
Yeah. Everything except Microsoft getting a little buyer action. I don't know what's going on with Microsoft. Somebody don't like it.
Thank you for your time. I've been enjoying almost every day so far. I'm very happy to hear that, Diana. Very happy to have you in here. You're amazing, B, and the team is on fire. You're amazing, Daffy. Oh, speaking of Daffy, let's check solar. Me and him were ready to short it, then we were ready to long it, then we were ready to short it, and we just keep getting invalidated signals, so we just keep not entering. But this is potentially holding for a potential move to the upside, in my opinion. Me and Daffy went over this on our own time, but I do like this potential retest for solars to potentially move higher. FSLR is a bearish kicker today. That would not line up with what I just said. And EMPH up against resistance. So probably wait for better positioning on those, for those to actually break. But I do like solar for longs if we can get a continuation hold of that major trend line. So far, no cigar. But that doesn't mean just go short it yet either.
Tesla just hanging out at 186.
Alright, we have another trade review I can go over now. So, we're going to pull up Taylor's, then we're going to pull up D-Touch's second trade. $13, $16. Then let me pull up D-Touch's second if he's in order. Alright. So Taylor said, sounds like I'm not the only one who ended red on their first trade of the day. Yeah, it looks like a lot of people took from some first initial red trades. And it looks like a lot of you guys bounced back and either took another green trade or you reviewed and you figured out why. But she said, trade number 1, blue ovals. My original TA for AMD was to play calls from 77.43 to 75.39. This happened too quick after the first 10 minutes, and I missed the entry while looking at another chart. Entered as the pre-market high rebroke, anticipating a lower high or new high of day. I ended up holding too long and took a 15% hit, as you guys saw from that screenshot. She said, trade number 2, orange ovals. Played levels and closely mentioned the 1 minute time frame. More details are on the chart. Dark blue levels equal key levels, light blue levels equals standard charting levels, and AOI stands for area of interest, but it stands for areas of resistance within the past 5 days. So she even highlights labels and everything for us. But let's see what her first trade was. So she entered. She didn't like the first initiating break. It was too quick, too early, so she waited. Ended up getting into the first break, and then exited as it rebroke back below. Again, not getting an increased movement over her next level at, 75.39. So, failed to push that new high, giving her one indication she might have to cut soon, and then ended up pushing back down below her level, and she cut for 15%. So, not a crazy loss, nothing crazy. You guys saw the screenshot. But still a very good trade plan in place. You guys can see, even with good TA, rising volume, broke the pre-market high, it isn't always going to work. But as you guys can see, and this is kind of why I say you have to be a good loser. You can't sit here and take a loss and think like, oh my god, it's the end of the world, I have to quit. All that, don't turn into a kid and start throwing a pout, throwing a fit and all that good stuff. But pay attention, point out, where should I cut? What is indicating to me that I should cut? And that's what she did. She indicated that there was a good bearish engulfing on the 10-minute, rising bearish volume on the 1-5 and the 10-minute, and she exited within the very next candle. So she didn't take a huge loss, and she ended up getting out with reasoning, not just cutting because she's read. Again, finding reasoning to do something, right? So then what does she do next? She waits till it breaks back below her previous day low, seeing it's very weak. She ends up getting into a put. Next couple candles break lower. She moves her stop loss down. Therefore, she doesn't have to take her trade red. If it ends up reversing, she'll end up either very small red, neutral, or very small green, depending where she entered. She entered here, stop loss here. Very good spot for small green. So, price ends up pushing back down, and at her AOI area of interest, she ends up taking profits for 16%, completely wiping out her initial loss, with reasoning too. Lowering bearish volume, bulls making an anticipated appearance as AOI is approached, expecting there to be some sort of volume pick up against this level, and she was correct. We had lots of volume step in, and now we've just been sitting here ever since. So very, very good first two trades by Taylor today. Round of applause for Taylor, everybody. Again, just like on, who was it? Not Anderson. It was Jonas. Just like in Jonas's trade, he didn't just take that loss and then cry about it. He took the loss, he reviewed it for a second, and then took his next trade with reasoning. Again, not trying to take any revenge trades, not trying to force anything. Ends up getting into another trade and ends up taking good profits. So very good job by Taylor and Jonas today. And then we have a $12 increase on a 134 contract, which if you want to do the math on that, what did I say, 12? 12, add 2 zeros, divide it by entry cost, 134. And that's a almost 9%, and basically 9% increase by D-Touch on his SPY scalp. So let's see what he did here. So he said, quick scalp on the SPY put, 1 contract. Great work, by the way. After a series of lower highs and lower lows, I sat and waited for an opportunity. Took a lot longer than I would have liked relative to how fast the trade was, but this is the name of the game. Entered put on the break of opening price on increasing volume, got out at a known level and near the pre-market low for a quick, oh my bad, I must have done the math wrong. He said 14%. Either way though, beautiful job. He took an entry as it broke the new low and opened price at $3.99, and he took profits into the very next level. He didn't just hold randomly, he took profit at 398.50s. Very, very good job though, D-Touch, giving us good reasoning and a good breakdown in your text format as well.
It was on Tesla getting it going. 186.92 on Tesla. Amazon's back up almost 85 or 95. I mean.
Great work, Tesla, having some teamwork there with Amazon.
Google's almost back at that pre-market low.
I do have one more long, very long trade review to cover, guys, and then we'll cut back over to the charts. But username says, QQQ, distracted win, small account, he netted 23%. He says, I sensed a weakness in the Qs as we had hit support from where Friday's full day consolidation had ended up. You can see the 15-minute chart, which was also where the day closed. Trade plan: scalp puts with a drop below 286, scale based on Momo, final take profit at current day range near 285. So let me exit this so you have his plan. He says, entry, 3 contracts as a minor bear flag broke with price below 286. However, it was definitely an early entry. We got some volume, but it wasn't enough. The bear flag wasn't done forming. Not a good entry. Stop loss. The stop loss was a minor resistance around 286.50 or a break up from the bear flag. Notice from the 1-minute chart it tested his stop loss noted as the blue intraday zone and almost closed at the peak of that candle and the peak of the bear flag, but I decided to hold for a close above the flag. So giving himself more of a loose stop loss instead of just, randomly cutting it, giving himself more of a chance of getting that secondary drop before seeing it perfectly close over. He scaled out his first contract at 20%, moved his stop loss, scaled a second at 21%. He said, I had someone come into my office, so I wasn't able to watch the charts. He then exited for 30%. But green is green. The trade plan played out. His mistakes: getting in too early and not adding to a position when the full flag rejected or broke down. And then he said, edit. By the way, I did something I don't usually do. I traded with the naked 1-minute chart. I usually trade with my TA BB chart of a version of it. I still had my BB chart on the 5-minute and 10-minute smaller charts on my screen below, so I was still watching that. So even though I didn't get to watch as much as he wanted to, and he entered a little bit aggressively, he gave himself an also just as aggressive stop loss, therefore he didn't exit too late. And this is someone who's taken many trades. This is not something you should aim to do on your first or second outing. This is definitely not his first outing. So really good job, Username. If you guys know who that is, that's one of the best traders around, at least around me. But he ended up taking a good entry, did not cut, ended up scaling, and then getting out completely. You can see his contracts here. He bought at 101, sold at 121, 122, and 131, giving him 3 exits. He's using the same platform as I am, Thinkorswim. Thinkorswim by TD Ameritrade. He just has his chart set up a little differently. He has the second chart to the right where he watches his actual contract. And then he likes to watch multiple charts, not just on the 1-minute or the 5-minute, but he likes to watch multiple time frames. So he's definitely watching a lot more than I am all at once. But same system, or same platform. But round of applause for Username. That was awesome. If you ever see him post, it is a gem. It's really not hard to open an account, Jack. You message them. You say, hey, how do I get live? Sometimes you have to deposit a little bit to have your account, but you don't have to trade that money. But opening an account is actually fairly easy as long as you go to the website. I've had a couple troubles and I've had to message them, but every single time they have fixed my issues, or they have at least answered me and given me some sort of response. But yeah, they're definitely worth looking at. J-Bake's heading out. Have a great day. Have a great day, J-Bake. Thank you for being here and providing a lot of info. And that Google trade he took, even though he cut his last contract to break even, that trade to the downside was great for anybody who took initial profits as it pushed down. So great work, anybody who took that. And I was ranting, so I didn't even get to cover Amazon, but Devin did a good job covering it as it was breaking 94.30s.
It's still holding up the best.
SPY's still holding the 398s as well, so it's not like we've gone anywhere since. But good push by discretionary being the only green sector right now. Staples are basically neutral. There you go, Leland breaking down how to open the TOS account. A little bit more information than I gave. Thank you, Leland. You're awesome, Taylor. You too, Sonia. You're awesome. Looking at Amazon for possible long entry, waiting on tap of 13 SMA. Just be very careful. That was just a good first initial push. You want to see if they can hold 94.30s, 94.50s there. It's about a 20-cent range you want to see them hold. If they can hold that, that gives them really good ideas for possibly moving higher. Oh, yo, how's that ice cream cake, Devin? Which one did you get?
It was Reese's. It was pretty good. I had some last night.
Hell yeah. Yeah, all of them looked kind of good. What's up, Anthony? This is every day, but publicly, no. This is the first and only week we're going to have public streams. We normally do this privately to just members of Discords, members of trading communities that we know of. But yes, we do these Monday through Friday every week. I was generous and let him take the entire thing. Damn, she let you have the whole cake?
You accept the half that I cut out for her.
Oh.
But yeah, majority.
Oh, they split it up.
Yeah, Amazon, we doing it yesterday out here. Gonna give us an entry. I might take an entry if it holds here.
Alright. I know October is also looking for the same thing.
But if SPY breaks its pre-market low and it comes back down, I don't know. But I also don't like the fade because the only reason we really sold off is because of China. And we haven't really been paying too much attention to what China does.
Hey, Jonas, some people are lazy, though. Some people see that many hours of streams and they're like, I'm not reviewing that. You know, and then they complain that they don't know anything later on. But I also think that these streams are a great amount of time. They're not super long. I mean, they are long in comparison, but they're not the longest of streams. They're not short, you know, either, so they give you good size. But it's definitely a good amount of info to review in each stream. I've even seen some people say go back and watch them in like 1.5 or 1.25x speed just to kind of watch it a little quicker, but still get some of the breakdowns, which I talk kind of fast. So whenever you get to me talking, probably should, like, you know, slow it down to 1. Would you rather do 240 hours of streams or 240 hours of Call of Duty that have no value? Definitely streaming. One, because Call of Duty would definitely bring me some pain. But yeah, no, streaming 100%. Rhetorical question or not, definitely would stream more. But no, you're right though, Jonas. Nah.
I found that infinite money glitch has been pretty fun. So just hanging up by itself.
It's funny we say Microsoft's the weak one, but Apple's actually down more. I just realized that. I mean, it's not by a lot, but
Oh, it is. So Microsoft's just been playing catch up.
mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Looking at AFRM for calls on bigger or smaller time frames. Because on bigger time frames, they're definitely down at the bottom of their chart right now. I don't even have anything lower than this because they don't have price history lower than this. Really watching these two levels now, and then maybe that 3-day support. You're in Amazon? Alright, nice. I'll keep it up for you in October. I don't have your SMAs on, but I'll still be here to cover levels. Sellers look exhausted. Your stream and the people here plus videos are one-stop shop for people who really want to grow as traders. I agree, Sonia. And I don't mean to like say it as like, oh, we're the only good stream you could ever. There's tons of great traders around. But there's even more shitty traders around that are just lying to you. So these are definitely a great spot to be. I would definitely put us at the top of the pack if you had to put me up there. I'm pretty confident in these streams. I know for a fact these help people. This isn't something I'm guessing at. It just, again, it's also kind of on other people's part. You know, I can stream, I can work as hard as I want, but it doesn't matter at the end of the day if the other side isn't going to do anything. So if there's someone out there who isn't growing but also isn't trying, well, then that's on them, you know. So like you said, it takes time. There's a lot of info out here. There's a flooded amount of info in here. It just takes time to go through it all. I would not say go through it quick. Definitely takes a little bit of time. And that's the one thing I preach is time. How many times have you guys heard me say, be patient? Don't think, oh, I have to grow this month. If I don't make $100 today, I suck. Like, no, stop putting goals in front of yourself like that are limiting your capabilities. Do not do that. Spy 30, thank you for reminding me, Leland.
Just chugging higher slowly.
Spy actually looks like a bear flag on the 30-minute, but it needs to break that 398 basically. We're still in the same seat TA-wise. But yeah, definitely more bearish than bullish down here. Good bounce though if 398s end up holding into today's open. So they have room up to 399s. 399, 400-ish area. But good mention though, Leland, reminding me to check the 30-minute. Beautiful, beautiful time frame. What is that emoji you sent? Looks like someone ripping out the wall and looking through it, or is it a storm cloud? I can't even tell.
A lemon with eyeballs.
A lemon with eyeballs? Yeah, I mean, your guess is good as mine.
Amazon off of yesterday. Looking pretty good. Now we're looking for it to take out this next level. Previously at 94.87.
Yeah, very, very good reaction by Amazon. With Tesla moving higher, too. Very good mention.
Yeah, Tesla. And it's just slowly chugging, but it's got good volume on the 10-minute right now on Tesla. So, I mean.
All right, guys. Here's a trick question. I mean, not really a trick question. Some of you should be prepared for this. But what are... Let's say you guys bought the dip on Amazon right here. Everything's bouncing super hard. Let's say you bought this candle. You bought calls. Let's say you have 3 contracts, 5, I don't care how many, but more than one. Where are you taking your first scale out? Where are you taking your initial profits from this bounce? What level, marked on my screen right now, what level are you aiming to take profits at for your first take profit spot? Let's see who's been paying attention the past few weeks. If you guys have just joined today, I don't expect you to answer this correctly, but go ahead and guess if you feel that you know. Ding, 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 ding. D-Touch and Jonas both answering it correctly. 94.86. Now, why? Why is that? Because that was the first high made after bouncing from this level the first time. So that needs to be your first initial spot for take profit. So if you guys are answering 94.86 or around that area, great work. What would be a secondary target to look past? Let's say it breaks 95. I'll take that off the table. Let's say it breaks 95. What is the first take profit spot after that level, after 95? I mean, I guess not, Taylor. It isn't really a trick question, but I just like to make sure you guys are on your toes, you understand where you're looking for, because a lot of the times we have misconceptions of where should we be taking our profits, and it seems a lot closer than it really is. You know, a lot of us aim for too far of levels or something, you know, and it's like, why are you doing that? You got one good push, you don't see the weakness in it, and you could even have the conversation, you could already be taking profits here. Now, yes, that's a very small move, but you have to also understand nothing else is really moving with it. You know, we just have SPY holding support. Tesla's moving a little higher, but Tesla's been on a bullish rally today. You know, so is it fair to say Amazon has to go up to these levels? No, it's not. Exactly, Leland got it, 95.50. If we broke 95, 95.30, 95.50 would be a great secondary area. A good tertiary or third area to look at would be the high of day. So I'll go ahead and delete all that so we don't have to keep it on our screens. But I at least wanted to test y'all, see who was all paying attention over the past couple weeks. Totally fine, Steve. I figured you meant that just because I don't even know where 94.06 would be. It'd be at low of day, yeah. So I figured you didn't mean that. Great answer there, everybody. And that was just a theoretical, hypothetical question. You know, if this happens, would you do this? You know, just kind of keep you on your toes. But this is the kind of practice you need to constantly have with yourself. Not sitting here taking real trades and doing a trial and error. You need to be sitting here and doing a trial and error through visualization, not with real trades. So if you've never taken a trade in your life, you don't need to be taking trades yet. You need to be taking time to go through the, you know, theoretical moves. Right there, bam, first target just hit. You know, if you have 5 contracts, I'd take profit on 3 of them right there.
Sorry to hit with good volume. Come on, baby. Not looking terrible.
But my bad, Sonia. I want to scroll back up and see what you said. You said, yes, it will take time to go over the videos. However, that is what it takes to build a good foundation, even when you are going back to school or building a house. Exactly, Sonia. Great way of putting that. Because, yeah, you don't just learn it once or read one thing or watch one thing and you're like, all right, I get all of it. I get the gist of it. You know, it's a whole lot more in depth. And like you said, build your foundation. I like how you said that. Give yourself a real fighting chance. Too many people jump into this too quick or don't do any review, and the next thing you know, they're already quitting trading. That is because they don't review or visualize enough. They're not taking time to take mental trades. People will hit me with, okay, I'm going to practice for a week. Don't practice for a week. Don't give yourself a time limit. Practice until you feel that you're ready. There's no time limit on this.
Market's going to be here forever, and if it's not, we got bigger problems.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to be fighting over bullets.
And we should all be on the same team then anyways. Group up.
Sonia says, keep asking those questions. Even though I did not answer, it makes me help if my answer was correct mentally. Exactly. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. I don't actually care if you guys actually type out your reply or not, but at least reply to yourself so you understand, all right, am I wrong? Am I right? Let's see if I am or not and why. Great post, Sonia. Really love your feedback today. Not like crypto exchanges.
I mean, stuff like this happened before with like stockbrokers and stuff, you know, being over leveraged and stuff. Then they get bought up by the bigger guys. So we're just seeing kind of what the natural process is of markets. Always some scammers somewhere.
Facts. I mean, look at the foreign exchange market that was in America. There used to be hedge funds everywhere. Now there's none. All, 'Cause, 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 Today's stream just now hit 420 views. So we've had 420 different people click on today's stream. I think that's the largest number. I think we were at like 300 something. So 420, that's a crazy amount of people. Like I said, I don't care if there's 8 people or 800 people in here. We're going to be streaming. We're going to be covering updates, answering questions, asking questions. Bit late on saying this, but I like to throw on the stream while studying something else as background noise. Then when something catches my attention, I switch to it and review. Good job. Good process too, Wacko Jacko. I like how you said that. Yeah, get your 420 emotes out of the way, guys. What's up, Rowdy? I need to get you in here for a stream one day too, just to talk about currencies. I'd like a stream with Rowdy about currencies and commodities if I could.
It's corn.
Well, he's really good at trading commodities, but I don't know which ones he likes the most. I just know he's at least knowledgeable in them. That deserves a shout out. I know Daffy would like that.
Some of them commodity tickers be making bank. They really got some movement.
And it's also a sector of, well, the economy that people don't think about in a more in-depth manner too, is like, oh crap, you know, let's say Ukraine has the largest grain supply, which they do have a lot. Let's say that gets cut off from the rest of the world. What is that going to do to the price of grain? Is that going to lower or rise, everybody? It's going to rise because we have lower supply of it. Demand is still the same, if not increasing, and you're going to have a lower supply, bringing the price of said commodity higher by simple supply and demand. Which I remember in the beginning, we played a couple agriculture tickers. I played what was that, App Harvest? What was it? It was like a hydroponic company, and they started flying. Sorry, I meant wheat. All right, guys, random. All right, my bad, Devin, go.
Oh, man, yeah, we got something going on. XOM's coming up to pre-market high pretty fast. That was really fast movement on XOM out of nowhere. Decided to move. So look for that over pre-market high, but go ahead.
All right, guys, random poll question. This has nothing to do with the stock market. So just take a step back real quick. What is everyone's favorite holiday desserts or sweets around this time of the year, around holidays? What are something you guys like to go for when you're in December? What are some sweets that you really enjoy?
Chocolate-covered pretzels.
What'd you say?
Chocolate-covered pretzels.
Oh, I can't argue that. That is pretty good. What is y'all's favorite dessert or wintertime treat? What is something that just completes your sweet tooth?
Amazon held that 94.85 level pretty well. Now moving up higher, see if we can get 95.
Ooh, banana pudding.
Oh, with the vanilla wafers.
Yeah, dude, that I instantly had the wafer pop in my head before I had a banana pop in my head too. As soon as I read that one. Snickerdoodles, those are so good.
Touching 95 on Amazon. Looking towards 95.20 now.
S'mores. I haven't had a good s'more in a while. No bake cookies.
Oh yeah, those are really good too.
God, you guys gave so many good answers. I'm getting kind of hungry now.
I've been hungry. I went to the gym this morning.
By yourself or?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, Henry works all week.
And yeah, guys, that was a poll question for Taylor. I'm not even gonna say a amateur at it. She's kind of a pro at making sweets. So if you guys ever have any cool sweets ideas or desserts or baking ideas, definitely drop them for Taylor. pecan pie. That's one of those questions you can't even ask Devin in a YouTube chat. How do you say it, pecan or pecan? Because, like, how are they going to answer?
Have you ever heard of a mincemeat pie?
I have.
Oh, wow.
I've never tried one, but I've heard of them.
I've never tried one either. My great grandpa used to always get those things. I'm like, I don't know about that.
Not much of a pie, Grandpa.
All beef and protein, I guess.
Whoa, that was cool what Daffy sent. He sent this. I don't know what this is, but he says it's a tradition we do in Greece during holidays. Mela macarona. I'm already bad at English as it is, so reading another language doesn't help. But great work on Amazon if anybody took that initiating play, bouncing off 94.30s. Like I said, a really good first take profit spot would be about here at 94.86. And you got another good spot here at the support in which we fell from. Again, if you're looking, we kind of bounced up here, held, failed, and now we're back above it again. So watch this general area if you're still in a play on Amazon. But that is a good first initial take profit spot. Pecan. Pecan, pecan. I've heard both from Texas and Louisiana going to back and forth between those states. I've heard many country people say both. Pecan. Gingerbread cookies are a staple for Christmas. I do like me some gingerbread cookies, I won't lie.
Those are really hit or miss.
Yeah, they are. You either have a really good one or you find a really just one.
Yeah. Either it's banging or it's you want to spit it out.
Here's another one from Fantastic John. He said, sweet pancakes with brown sugar syrup filling. Hotioc. I'm sure I'm abusing that word.
That looks good.
It does look pretty good.
Looks like a less sweet donut. Nah, you're just lagging in your head, Leland. Happens sometimes.
No, Leland, sometimes I do mute my mic and then I mute it just to like open my door or something for my dog. So sometimes you are actually hearing that. Ooh, dude, churros. Churros are really good. I'd kill for a churro. That's the Texican in me. Brookies are pretty good, like brownie cookies or however you want to.
Yeah.
Those are pretty good.
Still fighting $3.99. Netflix hasn't done nothing in a while.
They're still trading to the right.
Yeah, just right around that same area.
I haven't checked them in 20 minutes, but when I did, that was what they were doing. That's one of those stocks that always has like a really impressive look to it, like it's about to move a bunch, and then it'll have that day where it just does nothing. The heck? This almost looks fake. Honestly, I could kill for a blueberry muffin right now. In Jamaica, we eat sweet potato pudding. Alright, my bad, guys. Sorry for the dessert talk. It got me kind of lost. But we are still bouncing off 398. Like I said, you should be bearish when this breaks. You should be just short-term bullish as long as this holds. So far, a good bounce. I said, could we get a bounce into today's open? We've just about got that. Not to the cent, but pretty close. So right now, the range is between 398 and 399. It's basically a do not trade range. username said Q's over 285, 285.25 could run. Then he said needs volume, not getting it yet, still decreasing. Good mention by username. Tesla's up against that 188.
Amazon's still creeping up on low volume to a level. If it got some volume, it could see that 95.80. So we're looking over 95.20 with some volume.
And that's with Tesla at its next level too. So if it slows down here, I won't be surprised. Oh, sopapillas. Dude, alright, y'all gotta stop. I should have remembered that when I said churros. Sopapillas, man. That is an amazing dessert. With some honey. Oh. Man, y'all got me rowdy. Should just be Bueller trading Sunny Diesel. I think all of my social medias are Bueller trading. Oh, tres leches, yes. All right, y'all gotta stop. Y'all gotta stop. Y'all have to stop. Y'all are too funny. I like that I can go from talking about spy to desserts and you guys just have complete chill with it.
Come up to that 95.20 level, about 5 cents off, see if we can pop it.
October still in Amazon. Hard stop at break even. Take profit at 30%. Good spot. Just be very careful because you have reached a spot where it can slow down with Tesla also slowing down. So even if you did take it right here, it's not like that's a bad spot.
Josh, you want to go over my stop loss on the stream?
On
Amazon, 2-minute chart, 90 EMA. If you want to pull it up, you don't have to if you don't want to.
I'll do it.
So I'll just explain to them how to get out of a trade and not lose when you're in the profits.
Let me turn the EMA on and then I got you. I already have it preset to the 9. Alright, so I'm just going to highlight from here. Alright, you can go ahead and talk. I have it pulled up. I'll just hover over it.
Any more like 1 2 minute, right? Alright, yeah, for sure we are. Alright, you guys see how the 9 EMA on the 2 minutes following our trend? And we got our entry down at, the 94.50 where it retook it the second time. So when you're in this trade now, that's your stop loss. So it should have come back to, you should have let it come back to your opening trade, your entry. You should have let it come back down to that previous spot that we already retook. Our stop loss is if it breaks this 9 on our 2 minute on the scalp, because we're trading short-term momentum scalps. So right now we're pulling away quite a bit from our 9, which is good for us, but that also means it might be time to sell in momentum as we're approaching this next area. So that's another good spot to size down. But as long as we hold this 9, I can potentially take this trade back up to the previous day high. So we're just looking, to ride the 9 on the short-term time frame.
Really good breakdown too, because like he said, after entry, what should be your stop loss? And he goes by the 9 EMA on the 2 minute, knowing it's in a scalp. Again, not screwing himself by letting it come back all the way to here. If it pulls back under the 9, he's out with green. Might not be as green as he wants if he doesn't get to his take profit spot first, but it'll still be better than break even or even just taking a small red trade. But I like that though, giving yourself a good kind of secondary confirmation of like, alright, I should exit. Very nice breakdown too, Devin. The 2 minutes very clean.
That's just been how I get out of trades for a long time.
Good breakdown though, I like that. I like how you said too at the second retake, because it already pushed once, pulled back, and then he said as it broke 94.50s and retook it, that was his entry. And it had pretty good rising volume from candle to candle after multiple holds of the same support. So 1,
2, and over the 9 makes 3 confirmations for bulls possibly taking this short term. Great call out, Devin, and great breakdown. A lot of good call outs too today by the team. Not just us, but you guys as well. You guys pointed out many great opportunities. But good job if you guys took Amazon or if you guys have taken profit and moved on. Regardless of what you're doing, great work. So that was a good clean breakdown. And yeah, the 9 EMA is probably the only short-term indicator I like, to be honest. Not a lot of them hold up very well. The 9 EMA or even SMA, they hold up very well. Leland said, great strat. Love that the use of the 9 as a sort of trailing stop. Exactly just like a trailing stop. I like VWAP, but I only like middle VWAP. If you're going to use it, don't use the outer lines. In my opinion, that just makes it harder to look at. But middle VWAP, that middle average line, that one's also very good. It's a little bit more stable than the 9. It doesn't move as quick because it's not as tight to price. But its average is derivative a little bit differently. Thank you, Jimbo. Thank you for being here. Love the name. Jimmy Neutron's dad, Jimbo. I'm going to have to send you back to the Shadow Realm, Jimbo. Okay, I sold at 20%, ended green. Thank you so much for the stream. Thank you for the breakdown on stop loss. I need to rewatch that part. I didn't grasp all of it. Essentially just using that 9 EMA as a trailing stop. That was a pretty good short way of putting it. But either way, round of applause for October, everybody. She was, or he or she, I'm sorry if I'm abusing that. But either way, shout out to October. Round of applause for her, for October. I don't know why I keep saying her. October just sounds like a girl name.
A girl month.
It's honestly, I blame all the other female traders. Everybody who's in here who's a female and been kicking ass. It's y'all's fault that I just did that. There you go. Everybody's an it from now on.
We just pulled back to the 2 and immediately bounced off.
Devin doesn't just bench 4 plates. He throws those plates. No, I'm just messing with y'all. I don't actually mean that. Really good job, though, October. I really am happy to see you take profits on that, too. Not just because I have a level there, but I'm really just happy because you had your own reasoning on why you liked it so much. So it actually does mean more to me that you were in that because of your own reasoning. It didn't take someone pushing you into it. You took it on your own. You ended up taking profits on your own. You know, didn't let anybody force you out of a trade or scare you. So that's always the greatest part, is not just winning a trade, but it's when you have a reason on why you won the trade. Anybody can get lucky, hit buy and sell at the right time, you know, and get lucky for small gains. But what you just did is something that takes time. Something you can repeat over and over. Plus 20%. Who's going to complain about it making a fifth of their initial entry cost back? I cannot express how big a 20% gain is.
Something's happening. Spy breaking, pre-market low, everything rejected. Might just be the market, but it's moving in sync. Yep, Facebook, Meta, Microsoft, all breaking, Apple breaking. Fade trade's about to be on, it looks like. I don't know what's going on, but it's going.
All right, now I'm really happy October sold.
Ooh, boy, Amazon taking a big hit back at yesterday high. Microsoft coming down. 108.91, Meta, Google almost at new low a day.
It's a bloodbath. They broke 398.
Yeah, they hit that shit all at synchrony.
My VIX position coming back to life.
Be in touch with the Twitter. Click on that. Bueller, must reach the low of the end 5% screen rate. So a tweet from
Oh, great. It's from Bullard, of all people.
Yeah.
FOMC must reach the low end of the 5 to 7% rate range. Which, if I remember correctly, we were at like 8 or 9% right now. Might even be higher. I have not checked. Fed spooking the markets, doing what they do best. Deutsche Bank sees 2023 recession with markets plunging about 25%.
And we're just, oh, I'm dipping rip. I'm so.
Hey, but you don't want to trade that volatility anyway. That's
I know, it's just so frustrating because I just literally could have just helped do that, but I didn't. I know it's not good, but I don't know what it's doing.
brings the worst out of us.
Brings the worst out of you, I tell you. Alright, we're watching this next candle, see what we get. 5 minutes on that 10
One
minute.
thing to note, though, guys, look where it's trading in between. What did I say 20 minutes ago? I said we have a range of about $1 between $3.98 and $3.99. Look how we sold off to the bottom of it. Look how we picked back up to the top of it, yet we are still inside of it. Good news find, though, D-Touch. Even if it doesn't do anything, it's still nice to know what's going on. And yeah, Jack, what are you doing? You're supposed to be taking a break. Get out of here. I mean that in a nice way. Exactly, D-Touch. Exactly. This is a very news-driven market right now, especially with how the Fed are trying to gauge on how they can attack the inflation. So we're also pricing in their aggressiveness. So they're going to stay aggressive, which I've been saying I 100% believe they're going to maintain being aggressive. Even if they do slow up on their interest rate hikes, I do not believe that they're going to slow up their aggressiveness. Again, maintaining their hefty, strong fight towards inflation and keeping it down, because they got caught with their pants down once. They are not going to let it happen again. And if they do, that'll be a very scary sell-off. Well, that was at nighttime, Jonas. So I'm not 100% sure. Whenever Trump's Twitter got reinstated, that was at like nighttime or late afternoon. So there wasn't really much movement, but I would doubt. Now, you might have seen a move on DWAC the next day, or well, Twitter's not on the market anymore, but you might have seen a move on DWAC, which is his True Social app. But I didn't see anything overall market-wise. He doesn't have as much weight on the market as he did when he was president. It's okay, Jack. I was just looking out for you, man. If you're taking a true reset, you should truly step back from everything. Give yourself a good mental break. Therefore, when you reapproach the charts, you have a good fresh look at everything. It's like going outside and catching some air. What's Thanos up to?
Hopefully sleeping. You've been barking at everything lately. Alright. So what are we going to do now? You got the big reaction. 10-minute candle's looking crazy. Minute 30 of the next 10-minute candle. What are we going to get?
I would say we get a continuation under 398.
That's what I'm thinking too, but I don't want to get in too early.
And wow, you guys made it. We're 5 minutes away from streaming for 3.5 hours. Great work, guys. Like I said before, just to repeat myself again so everybody's on the same page, we will be streaming publicly on this YouTube for all of this week. This is a one-time thing. I'll probably have a couple public days here or there, like single days, in the future, but I just wanted to do one public week, bring in some new faces, bring in some new names, and see who we can retain. Taylor giving out her recipes for free? For the free? I'll be here, Jack. DM me when you're back, man. Take your time.
Market's not going anywhere, Jack. It'll be here.
Take a true break, boss.
Yeah, come on, Spy. Give me blood. Back under that previous low. Let's go. I'm just gonna see bleed. Quick dollar.
I'm very happy we were pushing people to take profit Amazon, because that was just horrible timing.
I'm glad I got out when I did. They
Yeah.
looked ugly quick.
Another 2 minutes, you would have had a problem.
Yeah. And I looked at Spy and seen what it was doing. I said, everybody sell. I don't know what's going on. That news be scary sometimes.
To join what, Anthony? If you mean the streams, you're already here, so you're here. For future use of streams when they go private, you'll need to be in a Discord or community that has our streams, which there's like 7 now. I'm not here to promote any of them, though. That is not my goal. Alright, so he came out with more. He said, first 250 BPS of tightening was just getting to neutral. The goal is to have 2023 as a year for the U.S. to have disinflation. Oh, so they're saying inflation exists now. How nice. I thought it was transitory. What happened to that? That was the most bullshit I've ever heard. When they have to come out with new words to say things, that's when you should get scared. They didn't even know what transitory meant when they said that. So Tony and Anthony, to answer y'all's questions, you'll have to message me on Instagram or Twitter or Discord if you have me, for me to answer your questions any further. I cannot drop links in here. I don't even know who Knotz is. Gnotz. It sounds familiar. I am in Trading Made Simple. I am in Tyke Trade. I am in Trader's War Room. I am in Black Tie Analytics. I am in Lucrum Investing. I am in TMS. I am in Buther Buys. I am in Keanu Trades. Those are all the servers I'm a part of. If you want an actual link or invite to any of those, you have to message me. Inflation has been consistently present ever since money existed. No, it has. That's a fact. Inflation's been around since the beginning of time. At least when monetary existed. Back in the olden days, when we paid silver for bread. Amazon just at the previous day low. Yikes. Yeah, for real. That is a very yikes moment. I agree. Or no, it hit the previous day high. PDH.
Yeah, previous day high.
Not PDL. Crazy move so far.
Wow, almost at that low. Can we take it out?
The dollar moved up higher with that. VIX didn't really react too crazily.
You know what's really funny? They literally just talked about on pre-market prep about how Jerome Powell needs to rein in all these Fed speakers from speaking all the time.
Yeah, it's crazy because you have some of them saying one thing and then the next week they're saying the exact opposite. Bueller being one of them. Yellen, she's stepping down, of course, but she was one of them. That other chick, I can't even remember her name. She just talked last week. She is another one that will one week say, oh, we're tackling inflation. We're doing a great work with these interest rates. I love the tightening. I love the balance sheet that we're doing. And then the next week you hear them saying something completely opposite. And it's like, shut up. Y'all are horrible at y'all's job. If their goal is to gauge inflation, combat it, and to make the general public aware, which I understand it's not going to be instant. Of course, we're going to have some lagging effect to when the news is spread out to everybody. Of course, that's just logic. But in the pace that they're doing it, no, that is not correct. They do not need to be doing this. And it just goes to show how much we know about inflation and how it affects our economy and the global economy. We don't know as much as we think we do. That is a pure fact. I would even call it bipolar. I would call it delusion. They're delirious.
Either that or they're I don't know, they're making good on some BlackRock deals.
Oh yeah, they're not dumb. They're making money.
Yeah.
They're not dumb.
Because I don't know, if you had heads up that he was going to say something at 11:30 today like that, you know, you could have made just easy money.
What a day, man. One sec, guys. I have to send one chart real quick. Oh, I don't have to send it. Never mind. Hasn't changed. It's okay, October. I figured that's what you meant. I mix them up sometimes too when I'm just thinking or typing or saying it out loud. I'll be like PDH, PDH. Oh wait, no, I meant the low. It happens. Tech still just maintaining rejection of the 132s. Healthcare took that drop under that 136.70. Discretionary is all over the place today. Comms broke that 49.90, made it down to the 49.50s. So a lot of my plans and levels ended up working out pretty well. It just took a little bit of time.
You know what didn't move off that?
Hmm.
Tesla. Like, it sold off like a couple cents, but it wasn't like nothing else.
Yeah, it didn't really react as much. Probably because of its relative strength on the day already. I mean, this is an impressive day by Tesla. To be up 2.5% on a day where a lot of sectors are red, that's very impressive. This just came out. Bullard saying recession is not inevitable. It's already happening, dude. Bullard said Fed may have to keep rates higher through 2023 into 2024. Again, saying completely opposite things. Recession is not inevitable. You mean that thing that we're already experiencing? Just because the White House changed the definition of what a recession is, which by the way means multiple quarters of GDP declining, yes, we are in a recession. Just because the White House changes the definition does not mean we are not. I don't care if it's Democratic, I don't care if it's Republican, I don't really care for either. Both of them don't care about you. The thing to look out for is how slow are they going to slow up? Yes, we understand y'all are going down a quarter-point hike per meeting now. We've priced in a 50-point hike in December and a 25 in February. But at what pace are y'all going to slow down? We understand the rates. We're trying to understand the pace. Are y'all going to bring another meeting out at the end of February? You're going to bring it out in March and do another quarter-point hike? Because then it's just going to show y'all's pace has not slowed down. The Fed, man, they're a crazy animal. That was probably the most damning thing of this entire drama from the past 2 years, was the whole changing the definition of what a recession is. That was a step in the wrong direction, let me tell you. Because now you're throwing so many people into this delusion that we're not experiencing a recession or a bear market when we in fact are. Changing a definition does nothing.
Buy right back up to almost where it started. Nothing interesting. Looking like 399 is the level still.
It was laughable. Another laughable thing, too, is when the Fed came out with the core CPI. When they came out with core CPI, they excluded certain sectors on different reports. So on one report, you see a huge increase in inflation, but it excludes energy, transportation, which were some of the more damning effects of inflation, hiding the fact that the worst sectors were bringing everything down. When in fact everything was increasing with inflation, it was just at different rates. Them excluding energy, they excluded housing at one point. You know, it's like, what are y'all doing? Y'all are excluding information that is normally a part of all of this report, right? So then they do that and it makes it look even worse. It's like, oh, we're not doing that bad, when in fact we're doing worse. I'm not saying right now. I'm saying on the last report that came out, that is what we saw. The last 2-3 reports, they've excluded certain sectors on purpose.
Groceries has been one of them a couple times.
Exactly.
How can you exclude that?
Literally something that is needed. It's not even something that's going to go away over time. That will continue. People are not going to stop buying groceries. That is a need. It is a staple. 10-minute candle making an OB-IB pattern. SPY, even with that ugly dip under 398, back into the $1 range I talked about, between 398 399. Cooling off volume, cooling off volatility after all that craziness. Gotta resort to foraging in the forest. Like a survival game. Groceries are going up weekly. Facts. Stream still going. Love it. What's up, Keanu? And yeah, since we're doing a public week, I probably will go longer with some of the streams. I think in some states, DXMac, I'm not sure about all 50 states, but some states, yes.
My $250 a week in groceries is easily almost tripled.
Because that is kind of a regional question, Mac. Some states will experience more property taxes going up than others. And that's why I try not to touch and talk too much about housing, because I only know so much about it. I don't want to tell you guys something I don't know what I'm talking about. Thank you guys for over 60 likes on the stream. Let's try to get 7 more likes on the stream. Try to get to 70. Go bully someone to get back in here. All right, well, we've seen a slower, we had a lower open, a good initial pump in the day. We've just had a cascade drop kind of day. We had some news come out that made a lot more volatility and volume pick up. We're now cooling off on both of those since that news came out. And now we're waiting on the next moves. Basically waiting to see, can we retake over today's open? If so, we can look for short-term buyer moves. We also have this slight trend line that I'd like to point out. Just from today, of course. It's not that strong, but if you line up the past two highs, the first two highs, we actually do have a pretty good angled resistance here that needs to break. So it's not just that, but we also need to break over 399 to show some sort of buyer strength. If not, we'll probably continue this slow cascade move or even base out and finish the rest of the day off sideways. These are a couple scenarios I'd look out for. Bullish, bearish, and neutral. Daffy said, Devin, I need a mortgage to do grocery shopping nowadays.
Oh, I feel it, man. If I go to Sam's Club, it's an expensive bill, so I don't even go there because I used to go to Sam's Club, spend $700 and be stocked up. Now I can go to Sam's Club and spend $2,000 and still don't even feel like I got everything.
I DM'd it to you, Keanu.
So we're in the slower hours of the market. Kind of just bouncing around here in this little between 399 and 397.80.
Yo, you guys got past 70 in like the next minute. Thank you guys. I didn't even realize. Thank you guys so much for clicking that. I will not ask y'all for more. Ray says, just wanted to let you know I've been on and great job. Thank you. Love the stream. Thank you, Ray. That means a lot. Very happy to hear that. Really does mean a lot to me. I'd say the one thing I care about in trading right now has definitely been the stream quality. Not just giving you guys ideas, but giving you guys direction without giving bias. I hate when people sit here and say, all right, guys, we're looking for calls here, and then they don't give any kind of plan to the downside. And then guess what? The downside happens, and they're just quiet. You know, so what's the point of that? So hopefully people enjoy that.
Yeah, Daffy. I live in an area that's kind of on the poorer end, and there's a meme going around right now. It says, "Good thing we grow up poor. No, because we're hungry right now. We know what to do." And then it slides and it says, "Go to sleep." I'm like, that's rough.
Condiment tortillas. All right, guys, I think it's about that time. I'm going to do one more update on SPY on the bigger and the smaller time frames, and then I think we're going to go ahead and cut the stream there. While I'm doing so, please let me know, how did you guys hear about this stream? How did you find us today? Just let me know in the comment section here in the YouTube chat. Holy crap, y'all just got us to almost 80 likes. Chill out, please. I went up like 14 likes in like 14 minutes. But I'm going to go over this. Let me know how y'all heard about the streams, though, how y'all got in here. But I'm going to go over this. So today on SPY, like I said, we got a good spike up after the lower open on the bigger time frames, and the smaller time frames get a lower open. Ended up getting a good push that kind of held us. We failed to hold that short-term level. You can see we broke down under, rejected, continued lower again. So we got a bit of a drop-based drop after the initiating kind of open and failed to hold support type move. We ended up failing all of that. Failed to break over 399, and now buyers are still looking to not just break over the trend line of today, because we do kind of have a cascading channel down right now, but overall short term, buyers will be looking above 399, and bears will be looking to continue making new lows as they have 397, 396, and 395 as a psychological level, all in this area. So we have a couple levels below, a couple levels above. On the bigger time frames, let me switch over real quick. On the bigger time frame side of things, we are still just in range. We do have a bearish kicker. We have a lower open under a green day, so it's not a good sign for momentum, because this would initially say again, that if we open lower tomorrow, we should sell off down to this support, maybe even this support. If we open higher, we're probably going to go fill this gap and retest 403.50. 403.50 is the level we need to keep eyes over for a move to the upside. If we want to look for a move to the downside, we're going to have to see them make a lower open tomorrow, and we'll have to also test 396.30s, 395, and 393.60. So we have a couple levels to look out for on the bigger and the smaller time frames, but overall, we are still in range, guys. If I was to grab a range from 393.50, or sorry, 403.50 down to 388, you would see that we actually do have a $14, almost $15 range that holds us in here. And ever since we got up here, we've spent 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We're on our 12th day inside of this, what can seem like a large range. It's really not that large, but 12 days inside of that range, you can assume that we're going to fill up a few more in here before getting a more decisive direction out of this. But we are still maintaining our uptrend from when we had CPI come out over here, and when we had shorts cover when we broke 350. We had shorts cover, they picked up. CPI came out, not as bad, and ever since then we've just been in this range up here, which the last two times we've only taken 8 to 9 days to get out of our ranges. We are in a larger range here with more days inside, so we are definitely going to be paying attention to when this breaks and where we're possibly going. But you guys will definitely catch the alerts and the updates in these streams this week as it happens. Of course, I'm not going to make up things, but I am here to give you guys scenarios and what's possible for bulls, what's possible for bears, and what they can look for past that even. And then on the dollar, which is the last thing I'm going to cover, the dollar is actually reacting to demand as it should. It is having buyers pick up. So does this mean we're going to instantly fly back up to 111s? No, this doesn't mean that. But this does mean if we end up pushing off of this and breaking this recent high, we will most likely test 108, 109, possibly even 110 if the extra buyer move comes in. But as long as they hold this area of demand, you have to assume bearish pressure is going to stay on the equities until this breaks. Remember, this is not good for SPY when this goes up. It's good for SPY when it goes down. Again, it's just an inverse. It's not a perfect inverse, but we do like to use this to help us get kind of better confirmation. But hopefully today's breakdowns helped you guys out. We had a pretty decent watch list today. We had a couple things pop off. Tesla kind of ran without a lot of us. Apple did good, still in range. Nvidia, we had a failed trade idea. Same for AMD. I talked about Netflix. That had a good trade idea. We had a good Amazon trade idea. We had a good Google trade idea by JBake. There was so many good trades today. We had a couple not as good, but a lot of really good ones that definitely outweighed the losers. So I'd say today overall was a success. Not just from updates, not just the scenarios, but some of the trade plans, some of the ideas kind of coming in today's market. And if you guys enjoyed today's stream, drop a like. I will definitely be in here tomorrow morning. Again, we stream every day, 45 minutes before. Oh yeah, Apple was pretty decent too. You're right, Sherman. But we stream 45 minutes before the market opens, and then we stream for about 2, sometimes 3 hours after the market opens. You can see today I went a little bit over that. We're at an almost 4-hour stream today. But as you can see, though, we enjoy what we do. A lot of the members that join in here and are engaging and super interactive, they enjoy what we do. They enjoy being a part of it. So definitely tune in tomorrow and for the rest of the week, as this entire week will be public streams. But I'll see you guys later on. I'm going to end it here. I'll drop the links in all the chats for anybody who wants the playlist to all of the streams, which you have to be a member to have the entire link. But thank you, everybody. Me and Devin are out. I'll see you guys later. I'll be sure to post some information tonight if I see anything, and I'll have the stream links up tomorrow morning for everybody to access again. So I'll see you guys later on. I appreciate each and every one of you. Have a great rest of your day.